SportsHub headlines, presented by Celsius Energy Drinks.
Red Sox now have 9 wins in 11 games following a 3-1 victory in Seattle yesterday afternoon. Trevor Story hit a 2-run homer. Marcelo Meyer added a solo shot, and Garrett Crochet allowed 1 run in 6 innings for the win. In fact, Alex Cora got a great outing from all 4 pitchers he put out there yesterday.
It's huge. We've been pitching well. I've been saying all along, if we pitch, we're going to have a shot. And today, Garrett, he kind of like grinded the first few innings, and then he found his groove. Wood was really good. Chappie for the top of the lineup, and Greg finished it.
The Sox didn't have a hit after Story's homer with 1 out in the 4th inning. They managed only 3 hits in all, but they still took 2 of 3 from the Mariners. They'll have tonight off. Next up, a 3-game series with Rafael Devers and the Giants in San Francisco starting tomorrow night. Devers was 0 for 3 late last night. The Giants lost to Cleveland last night 4-2. Unable to come to terms on financing for a new ballpark, the owners of the Tampa Bay Rays have reportedly signed a letter of intent to sell the franchise to a group led by Jacksonville home builder Patrick Solupski. It's for $1.7 billion, but that isn't the biggest sale of the morning. The Buss family has sold majority interest in the Lakers to LA Dodgers owner Mark Walter. It is for a reported price tag of $10 billion. Jeannie Buss will reportedly stay on as the team governor for the near future. And Game 6 of the finals is tonight in Indianapolis. The Pacers trail Oklahoma City 3-2. Pacers star point guard Tyrese Halliburton has a strained calf muscle. He's been officially listed as questionable. He is expected to be a game-time decision. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by Cape Cod Lumber and CCL Homescapes. 100% employee-owned. You go to independent lumber yard. Partner with CCL and CCL Homescapes for all your building needs right in Abington. I'm John Wallach on Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 6:30.
New England plays here.
Ball down the right side. There's a separation. Yeah. Touchdown pass. Yes. Perfect dive from Drake May.
98.5 The Sports Hub.
Ladies and gentlemen, I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen.
Toucher
When has that been necessary to fact check?
and Hardy
I am not known as Mr. Fun.
on 98.5.
Hey there.
Sarge GPT going up.
Let me hear you say, "Boo! Boo! Boo!"
Crush me, mommy.
Say my name.
I'm a robot.
I'm the son of the Pope.
I'm a goddamn drag!
Yeah, good luck, dude.
Nothing like a good tushy.
I love you. And I think you know that.
Excuse me?
Toucher and Hardy
Watch Daddy and Uncle Freddie.
Knocking back some time, having some fun.
on 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Let's go.
You just earned a dishonorable discharge from the Sarge GPT.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Good morning. We are Toucher and Hardy. Tom Fair Tire Studios. You can watch us on YouTube. Subscribe to 98.5 The Sports Hub on YouTube and get involved that way. Hardy is gone today. Andrew Callahan is in his place, which is another microphone that I have to get used to pulling up, which I don't like. It's very confusing to me. How many shows do you think we do a year, Adam? Like taking away vacation and holidays.
Oh, man. I mean, a couple hundred, right?
At least.
Yeah,
least.
like 250-ish, probably in the 250 to 275 range, I would guess.
You think we get 100 days? I don't think we get 100 days
Well, it's
off.
5 days a week, 50.
So I get 5 weeks vacation. That's 25 days.
Okay.
Then the weekends. That's 100 and 100 and the 60 weekend. 160 days.
Yeah, because it'd be 52.
100 and
times
no
two.
106
Got about
days.
250 weekdays in a year.
Yeah.
Okay.
So 250 weekdays in a year. So knock off your 5 weeks vacation, which would be 30 of those, right?
5
20,
times 25
25,
is,
yeah.
is 5 times 5 is 25.
Okay.
All right, we should maybe do math.
Yeah, I'm at 6:05 in the morning. Yeah, maybe.
Okay, so wait. So
A
how
lot of
many
shows.
weekdays are there in a year, Andrew?
About 250.
250. So that takes it down to 225.
Yeah.
And then floating holidays. Yes, we do about 220 shows a year. So there you go. 220 shows a year. I don't even know what the point of it was. I got so lost in the math, I don't even know.
We're talking
what it
about
is.
moving microphones around and stuff.
Oh,
yeah.
So say out of those 220 shows, there's 15 where I'm here and Hardy's not. So I mean, you're talking about muscle memory, my friend. This is not.
Do you want me to move?
No. No, it doesn't matter. I'm just going to forget to put your mic up, and there's going to be a point where if you talk at the beginning of a break, it's not going to be on. And I'm just warning you, don't take offense to it. It's all
I got my
muscle
eye
memory.
on it, Fred. Don't worry. I got my eye on it.
I
Thank
think it's
you,
going
Evan.
to
That's
come up
really
in the Jordan Hudson segment. I just got a feeling that the mic is not going to go on there.
We're not doing Jordan Hudson today.
Oh, okay.
So, she just wrote a boring Instagram post that was passive-aggressive.
In like a really immature and uncomfortable way.
Yeah.
I got uncomfortable reading because I forgot
She's
how
a
young
child.
she is and how she's not that smart. And it really comes through in a long Instagram post like that.
On and on and on and on. I mean,
Well, now I got to read this.
Yeah, you probably should, but good luck.
as a wordsmith, I think you might be.
Well, that's why as soon as John mentioned it in the meeting, I started sitting there, and I was not paying attention to anything else because I was reading the message, and it's just babbling about someone winning, like the importance of winning Miss Maine, and babble, and then about people not liking her in Nantucket, and her passive-aggressive, long-ass Instagram posts are certainly going to endear her to that community who really love the pageant. Like everyone else, they're just enamored with the whole pageant community, which consists of probably in the nation 100 people. Like people that participate in pageants, I'm guessing it's 100 people. Not many more.
I think it's less, to be honest with you.
Well, that participate, I mean, you got to get people to do it. I mean, there's got to be so 50 states.
Oh,
and we learned too, it's kept small on purpose when they gave us all those cease and desists and stopped talking about us messages.
Yeah, which show that they have the brightest minds doing their PR. I mean, they're so dumb, especially we got a cease and desist from the company that runs the website to look at the pageants. Like they have basically the NFL Sunday ticket for pageants. And to watch them, you got to pay this annual fee or whatever it is. But we paid the fee. And you would think all they'd want you to do is tell people that there's this pageant site. Because who knows? Who knows that there's a pageant site? Except for people participating in the pageants. So if I could get, what did you say? I mean, how many people listen to this show? You could get, 0.5% of the people that listen to this show to get your pageant site. You probably quadrupled the amount of people that are on your pageant site.
And they're each coughing up. Was it $30, Nick, or something like that?
I mean, it was ridiculous.
Yeah,
I mean,
$35.
Just people some people are just so unsavvy and dumb. It's just unbelievable. It's very upsetting.
Questions about the pageant Sunday ticket. Could you watch any state pageant?
To my understanding, to watch...
Nick's giving a thumbs up. He's saying, yeah, it's like an all-access situation. So now you've got the subscription for a month, and you can watch a whole bunch of stuff.
But there's certain, level of pageantry. Like, you couldn't... There's a bunch of different groups of pageants in that you're going for different titles. So Miss Maine, in what Jordan Hudson competed in, is not the same as Miss Maine. There's another Miss Maine...
Miss Maine USA,
which goes to Miss USA.
Oh, wow.
Right.
So to me, the one that Jordan Hudson won was a lesser tier one, I would imagine.
Yeah, it was.
Like it was like a lower tier.
Minor league.
But you would think by it being at the Holiday Inn in Portland, Maine, that it would have been a bigger deal. But, I mean, if the bad one's at the Holiday Inn in Portland, Maine, I'd hate to think of where the good one is. I mean, maybe they use SpaceX and just go to the moon to do it. But it's really something. I am not in tomorrow. My daughter is graduating 8th grade, which is a thing now. And my parents are coming into town today. And that is always a situation. They're not staying at my house, though, because thankfully I'm not comfortable with people using the downstairs bathroom a lot, like in the basement. So I'm not comfortable with people using that a lot. And since they're old, I gave them an opportunity to sleep in another room or something, but they've decided against that, so they are going to be staying at a hotel. But they will be around. And so tomorrow, my off day, is Zoe's graduation in the morning. She doesn't have school today because of Juneteenth. She has school, the graduation tomorrow, but no school, and then they come back Monday for a half day. So who knows why. But so we go to the graduation, then we go into the city for brunch, and then my son has a game well out of town. Well out of town.
How long a drive is this?
It's far. I'm getting them all confused because there's 3 games this weekend and they're all in different places. This is the only one where the 90 construction will not be a factor.
Okay.
Because the 90 construction just add 1,000 miles to everything that you're ever going to do.
So you're taking a boat.
Leominster, I think, is where the game is on Friday.
That's north. That's nowhere near the Pike construction. True.
Right. So, it's at a field. If I'm correct, it's in Leominster. I hope I am.
Wait, Leominster is out.
That's west.
You do have to go to Pike West.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, I'm wrong.
Leominster, hometown of Thunder head coach Mark Dagnall.
Oh.
Okay. No idea.
It's in Leominster.
It's in Worcester County.
Yeah, it's entirely west.
Okay.
Yeah. It's by the Doyle Field tennis pickleball courts. If you need a
we'll
place.
be there.
Yeah, if you need a place to like a landmark it. I don't give directions so much by city or street, more by cultural places, and that's right by the pickleball area in Leominster. So I will be in Leominster. So graduation, then brunch that I'm obviously going to have to pay for, which is for 6 people. I got to pay for brunch in the city, which is going to be fantastic. And then off to that game. The game is the highlight. And then how I'm going to get my parents into that graduation is another story, because it's in Newton South, so you can imagine the traffic and the inability to park. So I'm going to have to drop them off. Mm-hmm. And how I'm going to do that and then navigate around and park and get myself into the graduation is a story that is yet to be told. Hang on tight, because now you got a reason to tune in on Monday, because I'm going to have to figure that out. And there's a chance on Monday after the show he's going to have 3 games. Monday after the show, because it's a tournament that they're expected to win their bracket on. So they play Friday, Saturday, Sunday. They should win their bracket. And then depending on how well they do on Monday, there would be at least a game, then another game, then probably at least 2 games, because there's got to be a consolation game, I'd imagine. So at least 2 games, possibly 3 on Monday. So there you go.
Welcome to elite baseball. Good for you.
I don't know if it's elite, but it's certainly baseball.
So you were saying earlier you don't remember 8th grade graduation being a thing.
When I was a kid, I don't remember 8th grade graduation being a thing. I remember my son's 8th grade graduation very well, because my wife and I separated the night before it, which was
very good.
Perfect timing for him. I have no guilt whatsoever when it comes to that, but I do remember that.
So I remember mine, and that was just over 20 years ago. But I don't know if this is certain towns do the full middle school thing, or you have high school starts in 6th grade in the same school. It was a big deal. I think my grandparents came too, but mine didn't fly from. Your folks still live in Michigan?
No, they live in Tennessee.
Tennessee.
But I haven't seen them since Christmas, and I'm an only child, so it's about time that I saw them. They're yeah, I don't remember. Maybe there was, but the middle school I went to Detroit Country Day back then for middle school, and that turned into a high school, so I don't think there was a graduation. If there was, it was not much of one. I mean, look, man, I'm 50. I don't remember, there's a lot of stuff I could pretend to tell you that I remember, and I even think the things I remember aren't really the way they happened, and stories have morphed. Any story that's 20, 30, 40 years old is morphed so many times the more you've told it, that unless it's one of those rare memories where you can like smell it and see it and you remember everything, and some of those are completely random. Some of those are just just like I remember this like episode of the Brady Bunch I was watching and thinking that like, wow, I'm not going to be this age forever. Like I remember vividly. But stuff like graduations and stuff, the whole you're in news, you're in reporting.
Yeah.
You know the fallibility of memory and the cause to try people remembering things. That's when people write memoirs and they like have dialogue from when they were kids, and you're like, you don't remember anything, let alone the dialogue. You remember a two-way conversation from 30 years ago. You remember a two-way conversation verbatim. It's ridiculous. Any dialogue in a biography or memoir that's written out is ludicrous. Ludicrous. Remember the conversation unless you taped it or you went home and transcribed it. It's ridiculous.
So you want to know something scary? I did a lot of reading on memory like 2-3 years ago when my attention span started to go down and nosedive and take my memory with it, because a big part is just devoting your attention, absorbing it in the first place, and storing it. In this book, written by some Harvard psychologist, every time you retrieve a memory, retell the story, it's basically like telling a fishing story in that it changes every time you retrieve it and then retell it. So that goes for everything, unless you are so attentive and detailed that the things you're retelling now are going to be different from a year ago, because it just twists and turns it a little bit, and you fill in the blanks retelling the story, which instead never really happened, but you have to tell it, so it's a little bit different. And then the next time is a little bit different.
No one's had it.
That's why when someone goes to trial for something that happened like 25 years ago and there's testimony that's not, fact-based, like this is a fact because there's a record of this happening from like that day or the day after. That's why any like person that was there, their testimony, I'm like, what the hell? How the hell would you remember any of this? Like it's all skewed.
How about a trial 3 years ago?
Oh, the Karen Reed thing? Yeah, I don't know anything about it. I honestly didn't pay any attention to it. I know that she was acquitted, but I don't know any. And I know that she looks a lot different than I seem to remember her looking at the beginning of the trial.
There's that memory.
Yeah, well, I can tell you for a fact. I've seen enough of her. It's every day. So she looks like no one... certainly not a beautiful woman at this point. I would tell you that this trial's been very hard on her.
Is that where Canton's own Rob Hardy-Poole is hanging out celebrating Karen Reed?
I bet you that Hardy's celebrating them getting all out of Canton. I have a friend that lives in West Roxbury, and they're like, there's all these helicopters. I wonder what's going on. And I'm like, the Karen Reed trial. You're right by Dedham. It's the Karen Reed trial. What do you think it is?
Yep.
Every helicopter is for the Karen Reed trial. In fact, this retrial, I believe, was just... I understand the fascination with the first one. It involved a police officer. At the time, Karen Reed was a relatively attractive woman. There was like a lot of spice. That's what happened. I mean, there's tons of homicides every year. I mean, stuff happens, and unfortunately, police officers are slain far too often. So it's those things individually don't make a trial. I understand what this is. And then there was, the defense allegations of cover-ups from the police and all that. I get that. But this retrial, I question, except for very few people's, like, hanging on every word of it. Like, if the defense, didn't the defense take, and I don't know if this is true or not, but you could tell me if I'm right, and Andrew's in the newspaper business. Mm-hmm. Didn't the defense take the case in exchange for, like, the rights to it being used for like books and movies and stuff? Because
I don't know. I got to say, I might be the person just behind you following this less than anybody else.
Okay.
Having followed it.
Yeah. I don't know anything that happened except about the stuff about her butt and that Hardy was mentioned in one of the text exchange. That's all I know about. And the only reason I know that is because it just blew up like on social media. Like, oh, Hardy, haha. It was something innocuous.
But how about the idea there's a whole freaking documentary before they get to the second trial?
Well, that's
give you the best party ever.
What?
What was that?
I don't know.
Okay.
Something came through that was not supposed to.
Well, that's probably Karen Reed's lawyers.
The Hardy text?
Well, anyway,
was it an audio text?
Anyway, say that the because I don't know how she would afford that defense team. Like, I mean, that sounds like that would be millions of dollars, which I don't believe Karen Reed has. So say that it was in exchange for the rights of this in perpetuity. I'm questioning how much those rights are worth now. Like, do you see a fictional film of a big budget being based on this trial? Like a big budget. You do, Adam.
Yes.
See,
Nick was
I
saying
don't.
The same. I think this really captured a lot of people's attention.
The first time around.
But even more so, I feel like even more people got kind of sucked into the dragnet that since it continued.
Well, no one here, none of my friends, none of the girls I know, I don't know anyone who followed the trial. It seems I know guys that covered it for TV that just wanted it to end, who really know nothing about the
Look
trial.
at the rest of the building, though. Like down the hall, both of those stations, I've just been obsessed with it. So you would think by extension that their audience would be audiences.
Well,
would be
some
obsessed
shows
with
were going out and having lunch with her and going to her house and stuff, which I thought was very controversial.
Well, especially the movie. If you've got those rights, you
I
can
only want to
take
mess with that. If she's accused of killing a cop, I don't want to be hanging out with her.
Especially, go on, Andrew. I think I know where you're
how
going with
far
this.
could you take the conspiracy with the cops right now? Like, you're Hollywood. You've got license to do whatever.
And right now, I mean,
I'm not messing around with that.
There's nothing bigger right now as far as content goes still than true crime. It's been that way for half a decade now. People can't get enough true crime podcasts, TV shows. So.
Okay, I understand. It's certainly going to be a Dateline, and it's already like stuff on Hulu. I'm just wondering if there will be like Brad Pitt starring as whoever in the trial.
It wouldn't surprise. All I'm saying is it wouldn't surprise me.
Sure. What do I know?
Haven't we?
All
seen
I know
enough
is that
movies, though?
all I know is that if there's someone actively being accused of killing a police officer, my big thing is not to publicly go have dinner with the woman. That I don't want to do. That I swear you couldn't get me to do it. I would be like, no.
What about brunch tomorrow?
They could go. It could make you the biggest ratings in the history of the show, and I'd say absolutely not. I don't want to. That's a third rail I ain't touching, baby. That's personal life stuff, and I ain't doing that. I'm staying out of that whole thing. I don't know what happened. I don't know what went on, what happened. I don't want to dip my toe into that.
Controversy.
That's right. I don't want anything to do with it. All right. We will be back, and Jonathan is he's all he does is what happened last night. Now he's been thrown into the lion's den of what happened last night. We'll have that for you in just a moment.
You're listening to Toucher and Hardy on the Sports Hub. Sounds like this? This is the show for you. Toucher and Hardy, the Sports Hub.
Did you catch a game last night?
Hey, we're Toucher and Hardy. What happened last night is brought to you by Leonard Hair Transplant Associates, where your hair doesn't have to be a game, but what happened. So change your lettuce and change your life with Dr. Matthew Presti at 1-800-GET-HAIR. Jonathan, what happened yesterday?
Well, Fred, the Red Sox had an afternoon game to play in Seattle yesterday. They wrapped up a 3-game series with the Mariners. The Sox new post-Rafael Devers philosophy on offense, as we've talked about, is to be economical with their hitting and pray for lights-out pitching. Well, they had 3 hits in yesterday's game, but they made the most of them.
Swinging a high fly ball right field. Backing up, Mastroboni, and see you later. Marcelo Meyer with his 4th home run, and the Red Sox get on the scoreboard here in the 2nd inning.
And Marcelo Meyer handed the Sox a 1-0 lead, and then after the Mariners had tied the game up, Trevor Story came to bat.
Shot toward left center field. That's way back there, back toward the wall, and that ball's gone. Home run. Trevor Story with a 2-run shot. We locked in on that one, and the Red Sox lead it 3-1. And that was a line drive. That was a bullet.
It sure was. Frozen rope.
Yeah.
You know what Mastroboni is? It's Italian.
For
playing with yourself.
Okay.
I thought that was 12's trombone.
I didn't know that.
Yes, Mastroboni is Italian. A lot of people don't speak language like I do, but there you go.
Well done.
Thank you.
Did you hear, I forget who was calling the game with Dave O'Brien. Go, Ball! Go! Go, Ball!
I don't know who calls the games with Dave O'Brien. I'll tell you this, is that both these teams, similar in that they're offensive juggernauts.
Yeah,
both the Mariners and the Red Sox.
Not
both
a lot of hitting.
Incredible hitting teams.
So Trevor Story handed the Red Sox the lead. That was in the 4th inning. That was the last hit the Sox got in the game. In fact, Seattle pitching retired the last 12 Red Sox hitters. Roman Anthony led off the top of the 6th with a walk. The next 12 guys went down in order, and despite all of this, Garrett Crochet and 3 relievers made it stand up.
And a ground ball up the middle. Story's got the bag 1 on the first. Double play! And the Red Sox win it, and they take the series.
6 more innings for the Sox ace. He allowed 1 run and struck out 6. Garrett Whitlock pitched the 7th. Aroldis Chapman.
Yeah, why? Okay, so I didn't
game.
watch it. What was the reason that Chapman pitched? He came in with a clean inning, so I don't. Why did he come in the 8th?
Because Seattle's top of the order is dangerous. He got the 1, 2, 3 hitters. Cal Raleigh, who is the Seattle catcher, leads the major leagues in home runs and RBIs. More homers than Judge, more homers than Ohtani.
Then that kid from Chicago, the Cubs, he's got more than him.
More than everybody.
More than Kyle Tucker. You know Cal Raleigh's nickname?
No.
Yes, I do, in fact.
Big Dumper.
Yep. Big Dumper hits 2nd yesterday for Seattle.
Well, John's very excited about that.
Yes.
He likes that.
Yes, that's
Maybe
very true.
A face hitter.
My favorite baseball card, Big Dumper.
Yeah, John loves big dumpers. Big butts is what I'm saying.
Cannot lie. So the Red Sox win 3-1. They take 2 out of 3 from the Mariners. They've won 9 of 11. And after taking tonight off, they'll visit Rafael Devers in San Francisco tomorrow night. Red Sox are 7-2 in their last 9 games, and they are doing what you're supposed to do if you have no offense. The pitching has to be unbelievably good, but in their last 8 games, they've scored 20 runs.
Yeah, Crochet is phenomenal. If he wasn't in the same league with, Scooble and
Freed,
he would be a all-star starter. I love that Crochet move when they made it. I'll give him credit for that. But if I'm a Red Sox fan and I'm looking at this offense, it's nice. They've won 9 of. But during that, 3 games ago, they gave away their only hitter. So now they're in a bit of a pickle because they can't hit or score runs. And I just don't know how long you can survive getting 2, 3, 1 hit a game and winning games. It doesn't seem possible.
They had 9 hits the whole series. The Mariners, who lost the series, had 9 runs. You're not winning many series when you have as many hits as your opponent does runs.
Right.
Like, they got lucky in that the one night the Mariners hit, and this is a pitcher-friendly ballpark. It's another lineup that struggles, but at least has 2 all-stars in there swinging the bats, that this is kind of a paper tiger. If you're looking at this and going, oh, the Red Sox finally arrived, they don't need Devers. No, they stink now. But they're getting all the luck they didn't have when we're watching all of these one-run games, and it looks like an exercise in baseball self-flagellation because they just keep giving them away. Well, now you're winning those.
Yeah, and
lineups
if you really are the sabermetrics guy, this is the most simple of sabermetrics, is that this is unsustainable. If you want to look at graphs and have computer printouts, even I can tell you that this is completely unsustainable. That if you maybe another fan base, but I would like to think that the Red Sox fan base isn't going, huzzah, look at us.
Yeah.
Now, maybe after the Yankees series, if they don't trade Devers and they win 2 or 3 against Seattle, maybe then you're going, okay. But no, this is unsustainable. This isn't going to keep happening.
Roman Anthony is your number 3 hitter, I guess, for better or for worse. He was 0 for 2 yesterday. He is 2 for 27.
Yeah, which is
and he's a rookie. Number 3 hitter.
He's 20 years old.
Yeah, and you had 2 utility guys. You had Abraham Toro hit second. You have Romy Gonzalez. He's your cleanup hitter. Neither of those guys is starting for any good Major League Baseball team.
No.
They've spent their entire careers playing utility infield. And here they are getting regular at-bats. And now you have guys who are supposedly lefty specialists that are facing right-handed pitching. That's what Romy Gonzalez crushes lefties. He's your cleanup hitter against a right-handed starter yesterday. This is what it's come down to. Alex Cora, this is not his fault. None of this is his fault.
No.
He's just putting out who management has given him. He's out of options. This is all he can do. I mean, you say, why are the 3, 4, 5 hitters so terrible in that lineup? Who's he going to replace them with? Trevor Story's hit cleanup. Christian Campbell's hit cleanup. Romy Gonzalez hits cleanup. There's nobody else. This is what you're stuck with.
The Athletic just did like a ranking of lineups, and not surprisingly, the Red Sox well towards the bottom. And that was, I think, even with Devers. So, who knows? Yeah. So, I mean, without Devers, there can't be 25 teams with a worse lineup than the Red Sox right now.
No.
You know what's crazy, though, is they're coming up on the schedule. Like, and backing up to Seattle, even if they had the 9 hits and they won the series, you'd still be like, whatever happened to Devers, maybe you walked a couple times. Maybe they are getting momentum because you've won 4 straight series. Coming up, you're at San Francisco, no picnic. You're at the Angels. This is through the All-Star break. Blue Jays at home, Reds at home, then at the Nationals who've lost 10 straight, the Rockies at home, and then Tampa Bay. So, they think, apparently, they've self-deluded enough that, we could roll into this and then maybe be aggressive at the deadline. No,
San Francisco is playing well, not the last 2 nights with Devers, but San Francisco is playing well. Toronto is playing well, and the Angels just gave you all you could handle at home with Devers. So I don't know.
And if you had him, you'd be like, there's the schedule. There it is. You'll roll into the All-Star break, maybe second in the AL East. Like, Fangraphs gives them 32, 33% chance of making the playoffs right now, which those don't align with the betting markets. But the point is, looking ahead, you can see the roadmap, but that starts with hitting. And again, you look at the lineup and 9 hits in 3 games.
Yeah, 9 hits in 3 games. They won 2 of them. Again, that's not sustainable, and I think anyone in the organization would tell you that. And again, the whole notion of now going nuts at the trade deadline, we had Jim Bowden on yesterday, and the thing is, well, who's out of it enough that they're going to trade you a player with term? And then there's 3 things. Who's going to do it? There's not many. Then also, out of those teams, who do you want? That's another thing. And also, you now have to give up more assets to get the players at that point.
Good money after bad.
More assets than you just got in the Devers deal.
Oh, God.
The assets you just got in the Devers deal aren't going to get you anybody.
Exactly.
Yeah, you didn't even get chips. That's another thing. If you got, Bowden was so out on the trade, and he gave names that you didn't even get in the stratosphere of. Because even if you got, I don't even know what the San Francisco's
their top prospect is a first baseman. That's who the Red Sox wanted,
right?
Got rejected and still did the deal anyway,
right? And so, like, if you got their top prospect that's a first baseman, I suppose that would be to play him at first base this year. But if not, at least that would be a chip that you acquired that you could use to get someone. I mean, now you're going to have to trade someone you had anyway. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't. The deal, I know we've been through it a million times. It's the first time since I've been here where I could not see, even if I disagreed with it, I can't see the other side of it. The Mookie Betts thing, I saw at least the other side of it. I didn't necessarily agree with it, but I know why they did it. This doesn't make any sense at all. The timing, the players in return, none of it makes any sense. You just tanked your season. And the money that you freed up, why wouldn't you have just done stuff at the deadline anyway? Second of all, if you were in contention at the deadline, why wouldn't you have done? Why did you need to free up Devers' money? Who are you paying all this money to? Who do you need to free? Why did that money need to be freed up?
They had enough financial flexibility as it is to add at the deadline and not pay as much as the Dodgers or the Mets are right now. Like, this is complete nonsense that this contract, was among their 5 worst when you've got guys like Yoshida and Story, and you could throw a couple of others in there, especially when he's producing at the level that he was. But the thing about this is not only that my line has been, if Devers' great offense here, sports offense, his crime, was being selfish and sensitive, what do you call a front office and ownership group that went down and visited him and then wanted to trade him because he told them no repeatedly and they couldn't get him to do what they wanted? And now this idea they can talk themselves into, all this money and this possibility and that flexibility, like it's living in this abstract idea where that could be anything. But in reality, when you start to parse it down, as apparently you guys did yesterday with Jim Bowden, no, that flexibility is nothing. But GMs and front office types can fall in love with, we could do this and we might be able to do that. Well, what actually happens is always far less than that, in the same way that we talk leading up to any trade deadline or even the draft sometimes.
Is it just as simple as John Henry said, I want to spend money on my other properties. I'm not spending $300 million on Devers. Get rid of him. I don't care for what. Is it just that simple? Because that's the only thing that makes this puzzle piece fit to me.
Yeah, and Breslow goes, F this guy. Like, my relationship and my feelings matter more than the product on the field. And
I think that's what Callahan is. That's what I've heard too. Is that Breslow? This was trying to him be alpha of the room and let people know you don't cross him, which is not what a GM's job is. You're not there every day, like with the team. Like, you don't need to have you don't. The same thing with firing the guy in the Zoom call. Like, he's obviously
the stiff.
Yeah, obviously he feels like he's not being respected and he has no confidence in getting that kind of respect. So he made a panic move at the worst possible time and to, I guess, tell the clubhouse, no one's safe. And by the way, no kidding. 4 guys in your lineup are rookies. No kidding. They're not safe. Like, I understand. What do you think? They're like already like flexing themselves? I mean, your best prospect's hitting under 100. What do you think? He thinks he's the king of the world right now? Who are you trying to establish dominance over? One guy. They had to set a tone. To who? Oh, the young guys. They have the young guys. The young guys can't do anything. The young guys are stuck. The young guys, these young guys playing for Pittsburgh for the next 5 years, if they're on Pittsburgh, they're not in any danger of going anywhere. You have them. It's done.
And the thing that just blows my mind, as upset as you might be again at Devers, who I am not one of these Devers defenders who would go, no, he wasn't selfish, he wasn't sensitive, he was all within his rights as much as a star, and I think he got to be selfish. He has a role in this too. But fans would rather root for Craig Breslow to keep players under his thumb, under management's thumb, to do what they're told than to see great play. When the people that you are going to pay money to see, that I pay money to see with my television dollars or the gate fee going with tickets, is to see workers like them who are also the product. So if you're going to side with someone in the dispute, for me as a fan, a long-time, lifelong Red Sox fan, I'm going to side with the people that I go pay money to see, when if I can acknowledge and admit both sides are being selfish and sensitive, give me the guy who's kept their offense afloat, which is now somehow on life support and still surviving. But as we just detailed, is not sustainable moving forward.
Yeah, Bowden said that when he was in Cincinnati, he brought Larkin into everything. Any move he made, he talked to Larkin first. And regardless if it was, Larkin was playing shortstop, so he wasn't going anywhere. But no matter who it wasn't like his position in the lineup or his position on the field was in jeopardy, let alone that. But he said, when I talk to guys, and that's the way he learned, when you talk to your superstar or your superstars and you get their opinion, John, there's no time for your comment. So eat it, swallow it, forget about it. It's never going to be heard. Write it on your blog, your Substack. Do that. All right, we got a break. We'll be right back. Here is headlines. If you want to say it during the headlines, it would be my guess.
All right, cool.
Essential Sports Hub headline presented by Celsius Energy Drinks.
You know what? I'm not going to do it. I'm just going to let it go. Red Sox managed only 3 hits yesterday in Seattle, but 2 of them were homers, and that was enough to lead Seattle with a 3-1 win and 2 victories in 3 games against the Mariners this week. They have tonight off. They'll visit Rafael Devers in San Francisco tomorrow night. Devers 0 for 3 last night as the DH. Giants lost to Cleveland 4-2. However, big sale yesterday. Lakers. Buss family has reportedly agreed to sell a majority stake in the franchise to Dodgers owner Mark Walter for $10 billion. And Indiana hosts Oklahoma City in Game 6 of the NBA Finals tonight. Down 3-2. Tyrese Halliburton listed as questionable with a calf strain. Sports Hub headlines are presented by Celsius Energy Drinks. Refresh your energy with zero sugar, essential vitamins, and proven ingredients. I'm John Wallach on Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 7 o'clock.
You're listening to Toucher and Hardy on the Sports Hub. 98.5 the Sports Hub app.
It's called rising and grinding.
Start your
Got
day.
your finger on the pulse, Fred.
Begin your
Seldom
day
right and never wrong.
right here. Is that Toucher or is that Hardy?
I know, looks like a poodle. It's an effing poodle, dumbass.
The Sports Hub.
How about 4?
How about more than 2-3 hits a game?
They're averaging less than 3 a game for the last 2 weeks. How about 4?
All right, and then with Devers in the lineup, how many hits do you get over the week or over the past 3 days?
Probably 4 more.
Double.
At least.
And
18.
did he make a difference in the 8-0 game?
I mean, he might be 8-2. But, I mean, you can't give up 8 runs and win.
You have nobody
Exactly.
that any pitcher fears. There's nobody that a pitcher's like,
Wait,
I gotta pitch
hang on a
around this
second,
guy.
Jonathan. I think, John on the phone, that you are being deliberately obtuse. I think that you perfectly understand that this
I'm
is
just trying
not
to be a little more
sustainable.
positive.
Well,
A little more positive.
how long have you listened to the show for?
3 years, 4 years. I've been doing
Okay.
mornings now.
All right. So
Sounds like you've exhausted him.
well,
3, 4.
okay. So how many times, honestly, can you recall me ripping the Red Sox before in those 3 or 4 years?
Yeah, not too often.
No.
That's why I'm getting all bummed out. Cause
Yeah.
I thought we were Mavs 2-6, and that's just a rip fest.
Yeah, I never ever. In fact, I find the trope tiring that this making fun of the Red Sox and yelling about everything they do. And believe me, I'm around baseball all the time, whatever levels it is, college, whatever else. And I understand you got to get over things quickly, and that it's a game of streaks and runs. This is the only time I can recall in my career that I've ripped the Red Sox. Really is. So I apologize, John, that it's not positive
And
enough for you.
I'm bummed Hardy's not in because I wanted to make a little wager with him about the Red Sox.
Well, he will be back Monday, and he's not out of town, so just call him at his house.
All right. Well, it's a round of Blue Hills Country Club if he wins. So that's what it is.
All right. Well, I don't know anything about Blue Hills Country Club. Is that his country club? If it is, then there you go. Manny, go ahead.
All right. Well, first of all, we're going to be in agreement here that SWV song is badass. 1992, Sisters with Voices. I mean, yes, we are in summer mode.
Everyone loves it.
Starting next week.
Everyone loves it.
Oh, yeah. So we're in agreement there. But this overgrown child, Devers, 250 some odd million, won't get off the bench and play first base. First of all, says he won't only hit, needs to make 37 errors at third base. Breggs comes in, ready to hit 38 doubles off the Green Monster. I mean, how many temper tantrums can we have in a year? You think that doesn't go bad in the clubhouse? Have you guys ever been part of a team culture? Do you know what happens?
Okay, say
when somebody gets
that's
special treatment?
okay. Say that's the case, and you got to get rid of Devers. Why don't you get anything for him?
San Francisco had us by the balls.
No, why?
They knew it was a disaster.
They didn't. Well, first of all, he's not a distressed asset, and second of all, why don't you wait?
Disaster, not distressed asset.
If you have to get him to a team like Jim Bowden said yesterday, why don't you wait to the trade deadline with an hour left before the trade deadline and shop him around the league? Someone's going to bite and give you more than nothing.
He was hitting. He wasn't a problem for the offense.
Right. He wasn't.
He's a problem for the clubhouse.
Fine, but Manny, okay, great. He was great. Okay, they had to get rid of him. Fantastic. Why don't you trade him for things of value?
Because the Giants had him by the balls.
But the Giants aren't the only other team in baseball.
Think the Giants are the only team that could use a bat like that?
I mean, the Devers would be welcome onto almost every major league roster, short of teams that can't afford them.
Teams wait decades for a bat like that, and one's on the market. You don't think there would have been a bidding war for him?
Yeah, it wasn't. San Francisco wasn't the only team that could fit him under a cap or something like that. It was any team could have taken him.
Manny, let me ask you this: do you think they had him by the balls because Devers was a malcontent in the clubhouse?
Absolutely.
Okay,
and we're
so
comparing this to the 1990 Cincy Reds, Barry Larkin, stand-up fellow, mind you, but 35 years ago.
I'll compare it to February.
Well, that's when he was a GM. I don't know what you want out of me. I can't make him a GM.
Objected to being a designated hitter February 17th, threw a fit, sensitive, selfish. We're all on the same page there. A month later, he's doing exactly as they ask. He meets with Henry in Kansas City. Says, no, I'm not going to play first base. And if I do, according to John Henry's own paper, I want you to give me time to play there and not jerk me around. They say no. So he gets upset again. In the meantime, hits 9 homers, 33 RBIs. In the last press conference he ever gave as a Red Sox, again, a month later, when you just give him time to cool down, said it's all in the past. I think even if you believe the Giants had him by the balls, that would have gone away because as the team's winning and Devers cools down, he's playing well. So then every team on the outside goes, oh, maybe it's not so bad. That's when you should have dealt him. If you were committed to doing this all the time, which I think is ridiculous. If you disagree, there's no argument against just waiting.
Yeah, I mean, you could have gotten more. Regardless of what you think about Devers, you could have gotten more. How about the Tiger? I mean, first of all, we know executives in baseball were pissed and befuddled because they were like, no one asked us. And also they were pissed. No one asked us. You don't think the Tigers would have at least inquired about Devers, that they would have at least been a little interested in Devers with their record? And they don't have some stud DH. You don't think that they wanted Bregman? They were going to pay Bregman. You don't think that they would have been interested in Devers? I don't know if Illich goes through with it, but they certainly would have. They certainly would have listened.
It's just getting another team. Oh, you have these two teams. I'm another GM. Let's make sure I increase my offer to make sure I beat these two teams out.
The only reason, John, that you would make a team, if you're the seller, that you would make that deal that early, is if you felt if it was such a great deal on the other end. And you were like, correct. And they're like, we got to do it now.
There's no way
because I want them for this month, and if we don't do it now, I'm not going to give this to you again. And you go, all right, this is as good as we're going to get. We've talked about it. Otherwise, wait until the trade deadline, get teams involved, get them bidding against each other, get the panic meter up for these teams. And then that's when you're going to get the best deal. It's obvious.
Seems like obvious. GM 101.
It's business 101. It's business.
It's so clear that their feelings got more in the way than Rafael Devers did. When you just you call him a baby, call him a child, whatever. Just let him cycle through it. Because after a month, as we saw February to March, he cooled down and he was about to do the same thing, but they had not. They had committed over 4 weeks to get this crappy deal done with the Giants.
And the point is, regardless of how you feel about Devers and if you should be on the team or not, that's all fine, but you should get something for a future Hall of Famer. I mean, you had a 28-year-old Hall of Famer that you were willing to trade. You should have gotten a piece, one piece at least.
Craig Breslow, the other night when he spoke, quote, it's not that this was the best deal that we could get because the best deal that we could get may not necessarily be good enough to trade a player like Rafi Devers.
There you go. And that's great. Great quote. Again, fraudulent Ivy Leaguer. He got in for sports, and that negates his degree. All right, we'll be back in just a moment.
You're listening.
Red Sox currently hold a playoff spot in the American League after another win in Seattle yesterday, 3-1. Alex Cora saw Garrett Crochet pick up the win. He allowed the one run over 6 innings.
I mean, that's why you got to pay the big bucks, right? He's an ace. He understands what comes with the territory, not only on the field, but off the field. One of the leaders in the clubhouse, and every 5 days is a special day for us.
After Aroldis Chapman pitched the 8th inning, Greg Weissert got the last 3 outs for the save. Trevor Story and Marcelo Meyer both homered in the win as well. The Sox next game is against Rafael Devers tomorrow night when they open up a 3-game series in San Francisco. Giants are 0-2 since the big trade. Devers went 0 for 3 as the DH in a 4-2 loss to Cleveland late last night. The Buss family has reportedly agreed to sell a majority stake of the LA Lakers to Dodgers owner Mark Walter. It's a prize package worth $10 billion. And Indiana will host Oklahoma City in Game 6 of the NBA Finals tonight, down 3-2. The Pacers' Tyrese Halliburton is questionable with a strained calf muscle. He is considered a game-time decision. SportsHub headlines are brought to you by John Sewer and Drain Cleaning. 24-hour on-call service for your clog drain emergencies. Go to johnsewer.com. I'm John Wallach on Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 7:30.
When breaking sports news happens in Boston.
The news this morning, Marco Sturm.
It happens here.
Former Bruin, now current Bruins head coach. The hiring made official today.
Boston's home for breaking sports news and your flagship station for the Boston Bruins all year long. 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Hey, listen, if you've got to go, we understand, but make sure you bring the SportsHub app with you so you can hear more of Toucher and Hardy.
That's what I want on my tombstone.
On the SportsHub.
We are Toucher and Hardy. Andrew Callahan is in for Hardy today. You can watch us on YouTube if you subscribe to 98.5 The Sports Hub on YouTube. John was asking me off the air if I'm in a bad mood. I'm not. This week has been strange because Hardy wasn't in on Monday, and then we were at the golf thing yesterday, but we drove down there on Tuesday.
By the way, just take a second. Those people who run the Travelers, great people. They were exceptionally great to us yesterday.
We can't say enough, in all seriousness. They were... And you find this hard to believe, Andrew, but sometimes in radio, there's not a lot of respect given to at events.
We usually wind up on the back row of a lot of things.
Yeah, like you're in a corner somewhere. Even if it was designed for radio, like the Super Bowl. The low point of my life was that Phoenix Super Bowl, where we would arrive and they just would have nothing. They would have literally nothing.
That was the Boomer interaction, if I remember correctly. I think that was that year.
Yeah.
Where Boomer showed up and just started roasting Fred on the way he looked, the way he sounded.
Yeah.
It was bad.
And it's funny, too, because it's not like on that trip I was getting, like, loaded at night, like, in partying. Like, John can attest. Like, we would be in bed at, like, a decent hour, but we had to get up at 2 o'clock in the morning. Like, look, I wasn't sober, but, and look, I've had my wild nights. They certainly weren't in Phoenix. And you had to get up, and then you'd get there, and it was so depressing because there were like a security, sure. But it's like Phoenix goes, come to our city. You're broadcasting from here. I guess you want the Super Bowl in part to be like, come to our city. Like, come and visit our city. This is a wonderful city.
Exactly right.
Come move to our city.
That's why Indianapolis got it. Same thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
When Indianapolis treated you well. But we got to that Phoenix Super Bowl.
The convention center, when everyone would be there, record stuff for the next show, go back to the hotel, eat dinner, and go to sleep.
That was my question, because everyone, having done a few Super Bowls now, is walking around that convention center for people who don't know, and you just grab and pull over. Obviously, you guys are big enough to schedule guests. So how much of the show could you do to say, okay, we only have to do 3 to 4, 3 to 5 live the next day?
You got to do everything live because it was the Patriots were in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, Seahawks. Super Bowl.
Yeah.
That's right.
And so whichever one it wasn't.
This is a Spygate Super Bowl.
And then throw that garbage on top of it. And so,
I'm sorry, Deflategate. My apologies.
Deflategate Super Bowl. So I wasn't here for Spygate, but Deflategate Super Bowl. So throw that garbage on top of it, and good luck. Yeah, that 2-hour nap that you're just going right to sleep. Yeah, just getting up into your crap. And we were staying at a crap hotel by the airport. It was all garbage. So anyway. It just seems like a weird week, but I am definitely not in a bad mood at all. I'm sorry if I'm coming off that way, John. I'm sincerely sorry, but I am not in a bad mood at all. But the deal, I got a lot going on this weekend, but there's just a lot going on. Nothing of it, it's all good. None of it's bad.
No, it's just a lot.
It's just a lot.
You detailed that in the first
I'm
block
excited
of the show.
all of it's happening.
Yes,
It's
just
just
a lot going on.
All right. So yesterday when we were at the Travelers, from no fault of anyone at the Travelers, no fault of anyone on site at the Travelers, apparently during our last break, which is a shame because Eric Cole was on with us, professional golfer Eric Cole, which I had been waiting all year to talk to him.
Hardy was just getting warmed up.
He was a very nice guy, very small guy, very, very, very small guy, and like real small. And
did Hardy just stay? By the way, is that why he's
No,
off today and tomorrow? He just wanted to stay the Travelers.
No, his wife's out of the country with their daughter, and he wanted to like do some stuff with his son because he's out of school. So,
okay.
But he's going back there on Saturday. So the show went down during the last break, but it went down. It's important for me to state that it went down on this end. So Adam was in there and like everything. What happened on your end, Adam?
Yeah, so there was some sort of outage here in the studio. The board went out. We had some dead air, and then we're trying to get you guys. If you'd been in studio, it wouldn't have been as complicated. But where there were tie lines involved and you were remote, it was very complicated. So we were having a hard time. It took a lot longer to get things back on track than it usually would.
And so you're obviously feeling stressed. You don't know what's going on.
I have to focus on, getting some, even if it's bad sounding content, getting something on the air. Right?
Okay. And so what happened while you were, when this was all going on? What was the outside forces working against you?
Well, when it first went down, we have Steve. He's running because usually Dennis would be helping out, but Dennis is down on site with you guys. So between Steve and Dennis, they're trying to coordinate and troubleshoot and see what's going on. Obviously, Ryan and Nick are in here, and Cece's in here. And then Scott Zolak came in when it first happened, and he was, he's kind of like, hey, what's going on? Like kind of, busting chops a little bit, like with the stations down and such, and which is fine, whatever. And, but I'm trying to stay focused on, getting everything back up and running and staying in touch with Steve and Dennis and finding out what the problem is. And then Zolak came back in a second time and started bloviating and being very animated. And I had to ask him to leave the studio, to leave the control room, because we're like, there's already 4 people in here and a 5th with Steve. We don't need a 6th who's not in here to help. So I asked him, I said, dude, get out of here. Unless you're here to help, you got to get out.
Okay, did you swear at him?
Might have. Okay. Might have.
All right.
How?
So,
I probably did.
All right. So
the swear is important, though.
Yeah.
Is it? Okay.
Like, how pissed were you?
What was the phrase?
It wasn't that I was.
But annoyed, but you were pissed.
I was irritated because again, the first time that's fine. Like we can all kind of like lighten the mood a little.
So you were
bit,
being
right?
very short with
But the
him.
second
Did
time,
you
yeah,
yell?
I was
Did
really
you
irritated.
raise your voice?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
I didn't like scream, but I certainly was like terse. That's probably the
all
right
right.
word.
Very good.
Terse.
So, and then I have a follow up to this from what I heard after.
Okay.
But I didn't hear this.
I didn't hear this either. This is my first time hearing it.
This is from the Zolak and Bertrand. Obviously, they come on at 10. This is what they had to say.
Welcome in. It's Zolak and Bertrand on a Wednesday. I've got the road show going on today, fellas. At home. I've been fiddling around with equipment for an hour. I'm not kidding. I got in the office here at 9 a.m.
Have you heard what it sounded like here for a little bit? In the building.
I did.
The entire building.
I heard there were some problems.
We had some issues.
Zoe did his best to help.
Yeah, I did.
Thank you, Zoe.
I was screaming.
Thank you for your service.
Of course, Dennis not here. He's on
It was
the road.
one of the funniest things I've ever seen.
Yeah, Adam 12 jumped my ass. I'm gonna put him in a body bag. Oh, he's on the list. Yeah,
It was like a dog that went on the carpet and you're trying to get him out of the house.
he's 5.
Turns out Zoe yelling, "This sounds terrible," did not help the situation.
It sounds like no, I didn't say terrible. Use another word. This sounds like
Over and over again.
he's on the list now.
It
Beetle.
gets to a breaking point.
I got connected to the station, I don't know, 20 or so minutes ago when this all hell broke loose. And I was talking to T-Bone, and I was on the phone with Dennis at one point, and he's like, I gotta go, and he just hung up on me. And I was like, what happened?
He's just seen Conti running, and he got a new haircut. He looks so crazy. He looks like
So
Milliken.
I have no idea what happened. I just know that I was on the phone with Dennis, and he started screaming at me.
It's Hermes the Elf. It's the Shark Guy. It's Keith Lockhart. It's Adam 12. He's 4 on the list now.
So he's listing
that list.
He's listing the people that he hates.
I thought it was the list of people who've complained to HR about Scott Zolak. I thought that was the list that I was on. Because I know that's a lot longer than 4 from what I've heard.
No, it's I'll get to that part of it. Yeah. But yeah, he had texted me that like after the show that you were on, his list. But
Nonsense.
I'll tell you why he.
Scott and I get along well.
There's no need for you to comment. I will tell you exactly what was going on.
Okay.
It is more about Scott and his a thing about him that's actually a good thing.
Okay.
So you guys really had a little bit of a dust up.
I didn't have any dust up.
Well, there was a dust up. You may not have responded to it, but he was pissed.
I don't talk to people that way.
Oh, so he was seriously pissed.
I just come in and be nice to people.
I don't know if Zoe read the room properly. Yeah.
Oh, I read it.
I mean, it's
I read
a
the room
frequent.
properly.
I mean, let's be honest, it's a frequent problem.
When these guys,
when it hits
the fan in here, it's nothing. There's nothing better. I heard it on the way in, and I'm like, I got to get there because I know Dennis is on remote with Artie and Fred.
It's because you are immune to criticism from a boss. That's why. And whereas these other people, Dennis or Adam 12, those guys are subject to, criticism and a meeting where they say, what the hell happened and why did you fail us?
I don't go to those meetings.
Yeah, and that is true. Zolak, out of all of us, Felger, Maz, me, anyone, he is the one that is, Mary Menace, our general manager, the star and the moon.
Remember the birthday? Remember the birthday?
Yeah, and I also, have heard that, things have come up and they were like, well, it's Scott Zolak. That was the answer.
Yeah.
It's Scott Zolak. What are you talking about? It's Scott.
Do you know what we're talking about with Andrew about Zolak's birthday?
Well, no, but also, what was that? Was that explaining his behavior, or we have to go above and beyond because it's Scott Zolak?
It was I've heard that if an issue has come up before, the bottom line was, well, it's Scott. What do you want to we're of course,
Zoe being Zoe.
No, I'm not saying it right. It's not Zoe being Zoe. It's he is the most important person in the world. Just leave him be. This is preposterous. This notion that he's done something wrong.
I just come in and be nice to people.
Fred's underselling it. We all have birthdays go by, and sometimes it's acknowledged in an email, company wide, whatever, or someone will say,
or a show with the Joe
birthday.
Milton jersey,
right? Or a show with the Joe Milton jersey. Zolak had a birthday. They put his face on the television screens. They had a big here in the studio. They had a birthday cake for him and a big ceremony. The rest of us, nothing.
Well, now, and then I made fun of that on the air. So now, all of my birthdays, they do something, which is just kind of a big FU to me. It really is.
Of course,
you want it so badly, dickhead. Here you go. Here's your thing. And so, but in all seriousness, I don't know if I've ever had a general manager at a job that loves someone as much as Mary loves Zoe. She just thinks he's the greatest. All right. They're in Germany at the games, going out to dinner together. Everyone's going out to dinner. It's a big thing.
That's why you can just walk in and be like, sounds terrible, you guys. This is awful.
All the salespeople are together.
What's wrong with you?
This is great.
Just the way he was yelling at you was so funny.
It was not funny.
Oh, that was very funny.
Yeah.
I wish I were there for that.
That was good.
I honestly
funny
wish
it is when a Subaru has no air in its tires.
He's about to be Adam 12 feet under.
Yeah. Adam 6.
Adam 6.
All right. So whatever. Whatever with this. I didn't really think about it. And then yesterday, late afternoon, early evening, I get a call from Zolak. And I can tell he's kicking the tires because I will say this about Zolak. He doesn't like it when anyone's upset with him at all. He wants to be everyone's friend. He really wants everyone to like him. Yeah. So, and I had not even talked to Adam about it at all. Adam, in fact, called me after the show and just was like, yeah, unfortunately, you weren't on the first part of the interview. And what I care, the show was over. Yeah. And so he didn't even, if you mentioned it, I didn't even remember that you mentioned it.
No, I didn't. I didn't even. I wasn't.
I don't think you
talked
even
about it because it was Ryan who.
Yeah.
Was
so
hey,
he didn't even remember that. Even mentioned the thing with Scott. So Scott called me and he's kicking the tires on if Adam's mad at him, and then he made a joke about HR, but I think that was a half joke, half
feeling you out,
feeling me out, and I was like, dude, I know what you probably think about Adam because of the way he acts on air or maybe the way he dresses. You realize Adam's one of my best friends. Like, I wouldn't be friends with like a total pussy. like I'm not friend. I wouldn't be friends with someone who's like a tattletale. Like I'm like Adam's not the kind of guy that's good. I'm like, you have nothing to worry about. He's like, I'm not worried about it. I'm like, okay, good, because there's nothing to worry about. Like, you know, like I'm friends with the guy. Like I wouldn't be. I'm legitimately friends with him, not radio friends. I'm legitimately friends with him. Like I can tell you for sure that there is I can't think of something that you could do to Adam that would have him go tattle on you. So
no, because if you did something that crossed the line, like yesterday, I'm going to tell you to go F yourself and get out of the way. Like it's just, that's just being do it in a professional manner. But that's just, you know.
Well, is that what it was? Go F yourself or get the F out of here?
No, I think it might have been get the F out of here. I don't know if I should.
I think that, and I know he likes. Scott likes.
And I like
Adam.
Scott too.
No, I know you do.
Yeah.
But the thing is I think that maybe Scott, in a way, looks at you as this like extremely woke, like progressive.
Yes, which I am.
Yeah, right. But like you are politically, but you're not like you don't fit into like a stereotypical person like that. Like in that you're not like a baby, like
not a caricature.
You're not a caricature of that.
No, that's fair. Thank you, Fred. That's you because you know me. You're my friend. And
Yeah. So, but it was funny because Scott, I could tell, was kind of kicking the tires.
Yeah, that is.
And if you were like legitimate, I know he was kicking the tires if you were legitimately mad at him, and I knew he was doing that too because I've known Scott for 20 years now almost, and I was like, no, he's not mad at you. I can assure you, he's not mad at you.
I've known you for almost 20. I've been in the industry for almost 30. I can count on one hand the number of people that I've worked with that I would not work with again. One hand I could count on of the hundreds that I have. And I'll tell you right now, like, just real quick, like I still found a way to get along with those people because that's what you do in this industry.
Let's reverse it and put it from Adam's perspective. One of Adam's good friends is me. And if Adam is willing to be good, like real friends, do things together, talk on the telephone on a regular basis. But before we worked together. Years and years before we worked together, when we weren't even working at the same station, and so for him to be friends with an idiot, a total mess like me, I mean, you have to give him some credit in that. I mean, unless it's just a charity, you have to think that he's got some semblance of being able to roll with the punches.
You're a wise man.
Give it a shot. Just because you can't vote don't mean you can't yadro.
Right? Yeah. That's right. That's Freddie T right there.
Right, very good.
Do you want to get off of Zoe's list?
No, if it still wants to keep me on the list, I don't mind.
He's not.
Just feed him. That's all you have to do. Give him a free meal.
No, he's not on Zoe's list. He's really not on Zoe's list.
Well, if Keith Lockhart is, I want to be on the list because I love me some Keith Lockhart.
Oh, there you go.
And there's Adam for you right there.
Right there.
Adam always with the dream.
Sounds like you guys are friends, real friends. Like you talk on the phone.
Yes.
Real friends, like equals.
Real friends.
He killed it in his audition. He killed it in his trombone audition here.
He really did.
He did.
All right. Like equals. Every time I say real friends, it's because of the Seinfeld episode with his uncle, where he was with the hello guy, and he goes, he's friends with the mayor. Real friends, like equals. All right. Very good. Hello. We will be back in just a moment.
Toucher and Hardy, 98.5 The Sports Hub.
trade me. I'm going to continue to do what I want to do. And I wonder if he was throwing that out there. Yeah, go ahead. I'm open to a trade. Go ahead, trade me, thinking no one's going to trade for me. Look at my contract. There are so few teams in baseball that want a contract like this. And I wonder if the trade caught him by surprise.
Zolak and Bertrand, weekday mornings at 10 on the Sports Hub.
Is elongating?
Weekday mornings.
Here goes Hardy.
Toucher and Hardy.
I no longer love things.
Let's go. Let's ride.
98.5.
Let's roll the dice. Good story on Yahoo Sports about how crazy dysfunctional the Red Sox organization is right now. And he was like, it's really bad because they're talking to me. He's like, there's people saying this stuff to me. They're like telling me about what happened in Zoom meetings and stuff. He was really good on the show. And now this has come out. Here's June Lee talking about what's new with the Red Sox.
What's happening with the Red Sox, with Sam Kennedy, with Craig Breslow, with Alex Cora, is a state of organizational dysfunction. And I think that there's this, I heard last night after I reported this piece and it went out about an interview with the Red Sox were trying to recruit a new person for their baseball operations department. During this interview process, the entire interview was conducted with an AI bot where you would record the answers to the questions, and then the Red Sox would then evaluate them. This wasn't just one round. It wasn't just 2 rounds. It was 5 rounds of interviews where this person did not talk to another person in the Red Sox organization. This source told me that he had also interviewed with the Dodgers, with the San Diego Padres. The Dodgers have kind of been the organization that the Red Sox have been trying to emulate for the last 5 years. Sustainability, a big market team that knows how to spend money at times, but also is able to develop young prospects, which they've done successfully over the course of the last decade. What he told me was that the gap between the feel, the people skills of Andrew Friedman, who obviously relies a lot on numbers dating back to his time in Tampa Bay. And what he dealt with Craig Breslow was so far apart that it seemed like utterly delusional that the idea that this is what the Red Sox think the Dodgers are doing is just absolutely crazy. Like the gap between the two organizations and how they're trying to function is just miles and worlds apart.
And this kind of gets to my point is that if maybe Breslow's this scientific maven, if you can't implement and communicate these ideas and have them be effective throughout your organization, you're not. It's worthless. Then you're just like Rain Man at home. Like, I mean, if you can't, intelligence, whatever, but success in business and success in leadership roles is through communication and getting people to follow your vision. Okay, what do you know about this, Andrew? You take me through it.
So since then, Craig Breslow out in Seattle talks to reporters about this report. And his first quote, this is from a tweet from Ian Brown, MLB.com, been around forever, does a great job. Quote, "My understanding is there's like an initial screening, and that's used as a first filter. And then there's human interactions and conversations in person. I've had a number of conversations in person and over Zooms with people we've hired." He gives some more details. And then he's asked specifically about the 5 separate AI sessions that June Lee just described. Quote, "I think my short answer is I'm not sure because I know that I've had direct conversations with people. But like I said, if using this as kind of a first filter, because the number of people who want to work for the Red Sox is so big, it makes sense." Since then, the Red Sox have released their own statement to different reporters, including Ian and Mass Live. The Mass Live story starts with the statement going, "We wanted to reach out to you because we are seeing unsubstantiated reports about the Red Sox using AI bots to hire candidates." Says, "We've done this since 2012. You record your answers to a couple of questions. This is one of several steps. We receive a lot of applicants." So there are 2 parts of this that are interesting to me. Number 1, you do not have an outright denial from Craig Breslow or the Red Sox organization that they have had 5 separate rounds of AI interviews. Number 2, what Craig Breslow, though, said was substantiated by Zach Scott, who is a former Mets GM and Red Sox employee for almost 20 years. What he says is, hey, we would get 1,000 resumes. We would use this AI, basically just record yourself in a video to trim them down. Then we would have a phone call. And then we would do in-person interviews. To me, that just makes more sense. And on the surface, I think there is probably a huge gap between the best organization in baseball and the Red Sox. But it's strange to me the Red Sox did not come out and say, no one's sitting there for 5 rounds with an AI bot, which to me says there's either a misunderstanding or miscommunication about what rounds of interviews means, or they don't know how many people they're interviewing and can't deny it because they can't keep track.
Okay, first of all, the idea that they're like the Dodgers is laughable because the Dodgers have a $338 million payroll. And, Mookie Betts, is not homegrown. Shohei Ohtani is not homegrown. Freddie Freeman is not homegrown. So what they did is they gave Ohtani, it says $28 million, but we know what it really is.
Right.
Mookie Betts is making $26 million. We know what that number was when he first signed. And Freddie Freeman is making $22 million. So the idea that these are guys that they either traded for or signed in free agency. I don't recall the Red Sox being big on Ohtani. Now Toronto was, but the Red Sox weren't. So that's first. Second of all, okay, I understand that there's rules that if you have a job opening, you have to open them to the public, but that can be satisfied with just having an email address. And first of all, if it's a big job in the organization, there's no real reason to sift through resumes. You know what I'm saying? Like if there's a job with a good payday that's high enough in an organization for them to care about it, and the Dodgers are interviewing the same person, that tells me that this isn't just some cattle call where blind Scott's contacting them to try to get the job. That I understand. Like if you put a job opening, there's these equal hiring things and stuff like that you have to go through. And I understand that you get like a mass of unqualified people, but this doesn't sound like that at all. This sounds like someone who interviewed with the Red Sox and interviewed with the Dodgers. That tells me that that's someone that was at least big enough in baseball where there was interest from multiple organizations. And because how would they even know to get to reporters about it? And so,
well, this came after June Lee, as he said in the clip, released that big Yahoo story that was like, this is why it's dysfunctional, the Devers stuff, Roman Anthony doing grounders or whatever.
But I don't think June Lee, to answer what I'm saying, Andrew, is I don't think June Lee's talking to a plumber in like Leominster about like how he tried to get an assistant GM job with the Red Sox and it was all AI.
No, but I also think when you look at the statement, because let's get more specific to honor what the Red Sox put out. They're one of several, this is the direct quote from the statement, one of several MLB clubs to use this tool, which asks candidates to answer a few questions in a recorded video for the hiring manager to get a sense of the person beyond their resume. This is one of several steps in the hiring process and just one factor that helps determine which candidates should advance to an in-person interview. So they do the video, and then they advance. And this is what Zach Scott said. This is what Craig Breslow said. Bottom line, I have a hard time believing the story as told to June, not just because the Red Sox put out a statement corroborated by Craig Breslow, who's obviously going to say the same thing, and this guy, Zach Scott. It's just, it makes so little sense to me that 5 rounds of interviews, 5 separate days, instances, sessions were run by this, quote, AI bot. There's no company anywhere that should be doing it.
No, they have tried to Wall Street this thing. They've tried to streamline this thing. It makes total sense to me. The way that they're conducting their business and the outside companies that they're bringing in to streamline things.
There are a lot of hands involved.
Like,
I agree with Fred on this one. The Red Sox have been dysfunctional. June Lee has said as much, and we've gotten kind of whispers that that's the case. I would not put this by the Red Sox at all. Well, I think they are lost. What did Craig Breslow do? He brought in an outside company to streamline baseball operations when he first got there. You're telling me this isn't one of those fallout of that?
What
After
I'm saying,
firing how many people?
As someone who has been as much breathless rage on Twitter and writing a column for the Herald scathing the Red Sox as anyone over the last 4 days, is just a single source on this who had some interviews and clearly was upset with the Red Sox, reaches out to the writer, who then writes the piece that is most damning and spreads the furthest about all of their dysfunction.
You're thinking like a newspaper guy. I understand your thought process
because that's
here,
a person who wrote it. June Lee is a journalist, and I'm not here to disparage the journalism. I'm just here to say, if you just try to picture the believability of this, as mad as I am about Craig Breslow, calling for his firing, get him out. Sell the team. Like, I'm there with anyone who thinks the Red Sox are a mess, and for all the reasons we've described. But this particular instance just seems a step too far because it's also just not efficient. You have to then go screen 5 different videos and make sure the AI bot did this. One video makes sense. One in a single sitting, maybe even 2. The idea that they had 5 separate ones after the resume, then do the in-person interview, then do a Zoom call, then bring you in. It's nonsense. If they're streamlining, this is the opposite.
Maybe, but and maybe not. This seems like something that is streamlined because you're letting a computer pick out the best of the best candidates according to the computer's opinion, and that you've given it a set of rules to look for.
But that's not what it's saying. It's saying they would record videos and then they would be examined. Their answers were watched. So that's time invested by human beings to watch those videos.
You can fast forward. You can fast forward. It's
but at what
spent sitting there for bad candidates.
I don't want to get stuck in the minutia of it, but who's to say at what part of the process the videos are being reviewed? The videos could be reviewed after 3 rounds of it. Like once AI has cut the actual candidates down to a certain manageable number, is what I'm saying. That could possibly be what it is. But what I know about AI could fit into a thimble. and look, I understand. I don't even know why. It's like I can understand why you would have someone a computer. I know when you apply to like a major university that gets like 100,000 people applying, that they just basically take your qualifications.
Yeah, you're trying to drink from a fire hose. How do you do that?
Exactly. Like I understand that, and I understand that they probably get wackos applying for jobs that have no business applying for the job. And that the exercise of going through all that is futile. And if there is some way to mitigate that, I understand. But if there's someone who's interviewed with both the Dodgers and the Red Sox, it just sounds to me like they're trying. It's like someone who watched the movie Wall Street in 1985 and all of a sudden started slicking their hair back and, and going, I'm going to be a day trader. Like, it seems like they've taken a lot of these ideas from corporate America and tried to implement them in the organization to not great effect.
So I'll say this because John brought this up from like the journalism perspective. When Karen Gregan and I wrote that story for the Herald after the Matt Patricia, Joe Judge season of This Is How Bad It Was on the inside, I had people, which it sounds like June Lee heard from some folks after he wrote his story, tell them new stories. I couldn't corroborate it at the time. There have been 1 or 2 things from that season that years after the fact aren't particularly relevant, but I did confirm. But at the moment I heard them, I said, I need a second independent source to run with this, unless it's someone I've known for years and years and years and trust implicitly. That's where I get a little hesitant here, because it just sounds a little too ridiculous to me. I'm not saying it's impossible and not true, but understanding that it makes general sense to go from a video to a Zoom call or phone call and then an in-person interview. Like, you're telling me they did 4 more? I don't get it. It sounds like someone who's upset with the Red Sox, and I say this as someone who's upset with the Red Sox.
I got to know, what's the uncorroborated stuff about Patricia you didn't go with?
Well, one of those stories I've since gotten corroborated, so if we want to do it later, we can.
We'll do it next. That's
Beautiful.
a tease. I want to know. Don't tell me anything off air. I want to know what's going on.
Yeah.
All right. We'll be right back.
Essential Sports Hub headline presented by Celsius Energy Drinks.
Red Sox took 2 of 3 in Seattle this week. They beat the Mariners 3-1 yesterday. Sox only had 3 hits, but 2 of them were homers. 1 by Trevor Story, 1 by Marcelo Meyer. Red Sox have tonight off. They visit Rafael Devers and the Giants in San Francisco tomorrow night. Giants lost last night 4-2 to Cleveland. Rafael Devers 0 for 3. Big news in the NBA. The Buss family sold majority interest in the Lakers to Dodgers owner Mark Walter for $10 billion. Game 6 of the finals tonight in Indianapolis. Pacers trail Oklahoma City 3-2. Tyrese Halliburton questionable for Indiana. And the Edmonton Oilers have reportedly signed Trent Frederick to an 8-year contract extension worth between $3.5 and $4 million a season. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by the Albrecht Auto Group, Zoe's Auto Dealer. Get respect at Albrecht. Now 8 locations, including the all-new Subaru of Wakefield. Thousands of new and pre-owned vehicles, all at the right price at albrechtauto.com. I'm John Wallach at Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 8 o'clock.
Stay tuned for more Toucher and Hart.
took, what, 5 minutes?
Well,
it took longer because then he met with the players and pissed them off.
Since we're about to hear a Patricia story, I got 2 minutes to tell this. So we know for a fact Patricia got up literally in his first meeting in front of the team with the Lions, put his rings on a table, and then said he was responsible for one of the greatest plays in Super Bowl history, which he turns out wasn't responsible for at all. We have audio confirmation of that because everyone happened to be mic'd up during that Super Bowl on the sideline. And then, but whatever, even if he was. And we know for a fact the team automatically was like, okay, this guy sucks right away. First meeting. Then I know that he, for a fact, from Dave Burkett and people of that nature, that he alienated the media immediately by like calling that guy out for not being dressed appropriately and slouching in his chair as if because he's head coach of the Lions, he's 1,000 times better than the guy writing for the Free Press or the TV station in Detroit. Because they just happen to have different jobs, he's automatically this superior human being that needs to be saluted to. He's a higher-ranking officer, if you would. It's not anyone in that room's boss. F you, Patricia. I just wish one of these guys would just tell him to F off. And then if he bowed up, just hit him in the face.
Did I tell you the tweet story?
No,
we had a joint practice. The Patriots had a joint practice, so we, the media, traveled to go cover it in Detroit in 2019. Brady's last summer. That was the summer where he re-signed the extension, and you can ask Mr. Kraft, whatever. We're sitting there waiting for Patricia press conference, and one of the other writers who since left was there for 10 years, Kyle Meinke, did a great job. Was like, you would not believe the stuff we did right after the season. I go, what are you talking about? He says, Patricia, after we had requested for all these interviews with him, and he had been abrupt and terse and just kind of a jerk, said, yeah, why don't you come on into the office now? We can sit and talk. Great. Even if this is not for a story, just clear the air, talk man to man. They had printed out tweets of Kyle's and other reporters and showed them to the writers, being like, hey, week 12, why did you tweet this in the second quarter? That wasn't right. This was wrong. That's not good. That wasn't the right play. What are you talking about? You don't know the right read. The kings of control what you can control wanted to roll back the clock and wag a finger at the reporters like that was going to change anything.
And I'll just tell this story from a personal perspective. I was at Patricia's first game that he coached, which was against the Jets on Monday Night Football. It also happened to be Darnold's first game at quarterback. And the Jets won that game, even though Darnold threw a pick six, his first pass of the NFL.
Monday night.
A Monday night game. I went to a bar after the game, and Patricia's face came up on the screen. This is the first game he ever coached with the Lions. His face came up on the screen. This was a bar where they served cans. And a sea of cans were thrown on at the TVs.
It's like Animal House and Flounder.
And the bar didn't care. The bar didn't care. My point is this. He alienated the team, the media, and the fan base, certainly by the end of the first game that he coached, which is heroic in its ineptitude.
So now I want to find out, because I feel the same way about Patricia that you do, Fred. Before the break, Andrew Callahan said he left some Patricia stories out of the big article that you wrote, but you have since confirmed that these have taken place. What happened?
Well, yeah, and so moving backwards to the last segment, my thing was I feel a little bit of caution for fellow journalist June Lee that people reach out to you after you write this big story and have stories they want to give to you, someone willing to be critical of the Red Sox if they have their own axe to grind. I heard stuff I could not corroborate at the time, could not corroborate until recently, and so that's why you kind of sit with it, and at this point it's immaterial until you're just doing a segment here on June 19th. So Karen Gregian and I write a big insider piece after that 2022 season, and I heard from someone about some coaching dysfunction that went beyond Joe Judge getting frozen out, them not running enough plays, and players going, yeah, this is not how you teach that when they're trying to copy and paste the Shanahan system. And so having heard from someone separately since then, I want everyone to picture two football fields next to each other, because these are the two practice fields outside of Gillette Stadium. If you go to camp, one side of the field has full bleachers along a sideline, and you're looking to the opposite field. In the far corner behind one end zone is a very deep and steep stairwell. This is where players will exit the stadium, come up the stairs, go on to practice. When they come on, everyone waves and celebrates. So during the regular season, when there are no fans in those stands, reporters are at the bottom of the stairwell, and we are waiting to be told, hey, you can come up to practice now and take attendance because now we're stretching. They start with plays, walk through pace, then they go into stretching. So a weird thing was happening that season that none of us could explain at the time, but was also this: we go to practice 3 times a week. Practice would start. You'd hear the whistle from the bottom of these stairs. And then you'd see a coach go by, running up the stairs by you. After practice had started, after they're running plays and drills and concepts, you go, that's weird. He coaches whatever position. Then another coach goes by. And all of these offensive guys, except for Patricia, are going by us on almost a daily basis. It turns out that the coaches on that staff who would stay up Tuesday night, Wednesday night, Thursday night, building game plans, rewatching practice film, breaking down opponent film, would present their practice script, what they wanted to do at 6 a.m. to Patricia and Belichick. They would huddle into a room between 7 and 7:30, 7:45, rewrite the whole thing, and then go present it in the team meeting at 8. And some of the assistant coaches on that staff would learn what they were actually going to do after wasting their time from 4 p.m. the previous day until midnight, go home, come back at 5 or 5:30, and then watch the meeting and be like, oh, I guess I got to rewrite all this stuff, and be late to practice day after day after day. Because the guys who really build the game plan is not the head coach. It is those position coaches who were just living this Sisyphus experience of just rolling the boulder up the hill in the whole game plan, in the practice script, and then being told, no, that's not what we're going to do. And this was every single week of that season, so that they were late and going by us. And we're like, yeah, that's weird. But the whole season was that weird. Patricia and Belichick just deciding this is what we're going to do. After asking the guys time and again, figure this out, break this down, tell us what we should be doing.
Unbelievable.
And that,
have fun, North Carolina.
We talk about Belichick decision-making, and it was one thing to hire the guy and be like, yeah, give him the offensive line title and have him call plays and be the offensive coordinator. What message does that send to the rest of your staff, which was kind of shrunken anyway with guys who shouldn't have been there and were too young and had played defense in college and now are coaching running backs and receivers and tight ends? It's insane.
Hubris and being dumb. The two. Not good. That's when things go out of things get out of hand.
Remember when Cam Newton found out he wasn't going to be the quarterback anymore, and Bill brought him into the office, and for some reason Matt Patricia was just sitting there?
Yes.
How did Matt Patricia become Bill's number 2 like this?
Oh, by being his Jordan Hudson, by being the guy that just did whatever he said and carried out probably stuff that wasn't even his responsibility. Yeah, he became because Bill's an idiot, and so it was one of these guys that he could trust to be a yes man to his idiocy, like Mike Lombardi, who's another idiot. And these guys, his circle. What Andrew I think is saying, you can tell me if I'm right or wrong, is Bill's circle became smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller as time went on.
Smaller, and this is the part people underrate, but less qualified.
Yes,
if you look back at their coaching staffs in 2001, 2003, 2004. Your Romeo Cornells. Say what you will about Charlie Weiss. Dante Scarnecchia is there.
Charlie Weiss was a great offensive coordinator.
Josh McDaniels is a not graduate assistant, but low-level assistant coach, right? Like, they had so many smart guys in there, and it became less important to have your own ideas and experience as if you just came into the system and Bill could mold you because you said yes and he would teach you.
Yes.
And that worked in pockets. Don't get me wrong. Like, that wasn't – he developed coaches really well in certain instances, including Josh McDaniels. But you need a balance of guys who will say no and have their own ideas. And at the end, they had none of that.
In any business, you need people around you. In life, you need people around you that say no. I mean, you do. You need to knock ideas around. You have to have people that tell you this is a really bad idea. And if you don't, that's when bad things happen. That is when bad things happen. Well, Andrew, I love the story. Thank you so much.
I think Patricia's employed by – isn't he the defensive coordinator at Ohio State now?
At Ohio State right now.
Yeah.
Which I'm sure –
good luck.
I'm sure he's perfectly qualified to be the defensive coordinator at Ohio State. I mean, I don't think he's alone. I think that there's a lot of people around. So, good for him. But he's certainly not qualified to coach at any level of the NFL. And that's probably why all these guys fail. That there's no guys off the Bill Belichick tree that become good head coaches is because they all try to follow a model that just doesn't work. It doesn't work. I mean, Patricia, it's really hard to – you couldn't write like a parody of being an NFL coach that went any worse than it did. Like Meatball's the coach.
And people don't get, like, those late nights are what make or break certain Sundays. And all those coaches are grinding all that film. Sometimes it's just red zone. Then we're going to run this scheme. We're going to do that. And then you have to put it into practice. And then they've got stuff the next day before they do that at night of all this stuff to do. And then you're like, well, what did I just put in 8 hours of work every single day?
Right. And what's the point if you're just going to just do whatever you want anyway? Why am I even here? Why do you have me coaching if that's the case? Yeah. Not a well-run operation. All right. We'll be back in just a moment.
More.
and Hardy is brought to us by John Sewer and Drain Cleaning. With over 50 trucks on the road, because your clogged drain is their emergency, go to johnsewer.com.
From the Telfair Tire Studios, WBC FM and HD1.
It's not just the games. It's Toucher and Hardy, Zolak and Bertrand, Felger and Maz, Joe Murray. For Boston sports fans, it's 98.5, the Sports Hub.
Beasley Media Group Station.
Sports Hub headlines, presented by Celsius Energy Drinks.
The Red Sox didn't have a lot of hits yesterday in Seattle, but the ones they got were enough.
Shot toward left center field. That's way back there, back toward the wall. And that ball's gone. Home run. Trevor Story with a 2-run shot. They locked in on that one, and the Red Sox lead it 3-1. And that was a line drive. That was a bullet.
It sure was. Frozen rope.
That's Dave O'Brien on Nesson. The Sox managed 3 hits yesterday in Seattle, but 2 of them were homers, and that was enough to leave the Seattle with a 3-1 win. They beat the Mariners 2 times in 3 games. Marcelo Meyer, a solo homer. Trevor Story, that 2-run shot. Sox have tonight off. They visit Rafael Devers and the San Francisco Giants coming up tomorrow night. Devers 0 for 3 last night as the DH in a 4-2 Giants loss to Cleveland. Big sale in the NBA yesterday. The Buss family has reportedly agreed to sell a majority stake in that franchise of the Lakers to Dodgers owner Mark Walter for a price tag of $10 billion. Indiana hosts Oklahoma City in Game 6 of the NBA Finals tonight, down 3-2. They might be down their best player also, Tyrese Halliburton, questionable with a strained calf muscle. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by Rodenheiser Home Services. Rodenheiser is offering simple, stress-free financing for AC systems. Call Rodenheiser to learn more about financing options at Rodenheiser.com. Rodenheiser Home Services, nice people, great service since 1928. I'm John Wallach of Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 8:30.
Start your day.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Work through your day.
What's that thing we do at the end of the show?
And end your day.
I'm not giving you an opinion. I don't know.
Right here, 98.5 The Sports Hub.
You said you wanted to hear more music in the morning.
Never had to knock on wood, but I never had it yet.
No, you said you didn't want to hear more music in the morning. Okay. Here's more Toucher and Hardy on the.
But Andrew Callahan is here, and so our friend Pablo Torre, who I can't talk fondly enough about, but when I do, I'm mocked by his employer, by Dan Lebitard in Stugatz, and whoever in the peanut gallery over there was giving me all kinds of what for applauding their own employee.
I miss this.
Oh,
how bad was it?
Andrew, unexpected too.
They know about the Boston sports scene, and Fred apparently was misrepresenting the Boston sports scene.
Well,
Boston fans.
One thing that they leached onto is I said that because Bill Simmons had gotten mad at Pablo Torre and he said it was enough, and I said, well, if he's obviously, like, as you know, he was defending Belichick because they obviously have some kind of relationship.
Without listening to the episode, by the way, because I listened to their sit down in his pod. I go, you got to be kidding me,
right? And so I said, in just one part of me, and it wasn't even really about Bill Simmons. Just my one thing was like, and then if he thinks he's publicly like defending this wall, he's mistaken because people around here are loving this story. I can tell you. And the producer took it as I was saying, he's not from here and he doesn't live here anymore, which is not really my thing. I'm not from here, and I don't intend to die here. So you can have here.
That's the thing.
As far as I'm concerned.
By the way, that's what we were talking about this yesterday. Hardy plans on living here for forever. And he looked at Fred and I, and he's like, so you guys going to live here forever? And we said, no, we're leaving.
Yeah.
Both of us. I grew up here. I'm leaving.
Where are you both going?
I don't know. But I don't want to get too deep into this. Yes. We can talk about it later. But I'll tell you this, is that you'll never see, I've never represented myself as being a spokesman for the city of Boston. I don't run around with Boston hats on. I don't pretend to be a fan of any of these teams, except for the Bruins, who I admit I adopted a long time ago. But I was not a fan of theirs growing up. I'm still fans of the teams I am, including the Jets. So it was what I'm saying is unfair characterization
Which
by
is
the Lebitard
too bad,
show.
Because your sensibilities align more with theirs than when they typically get on Boston on that show, which is fair. But it's mostly the other shows on the station that they get after.
And I know. And isn't it heartbreaking when something like that happens? I was actually surprised and but my love of Pablo Torre continues. But this isn't about Belichick. Sam Presti is the GM of the Oklahoma City Thunder. He's done a hell of a job, but he's a redheaded dork, and you need to know that for this story. He went to Emerson. He started at Virginia Wesleyan, where he played basketball, which I imagine was very difficult. He went to Concord Carlisle High School.
Yes.
And then he ended up at Emerson due to his love of music. So here we are. We're on the probably on the eve of Oklahoma City winning the NBA championship, and Pablo Torre started digging into this subject.
Please open the package in front of you.
A CD cover. It says Sam Presti. The title of the album is Milk Money. There's a picture of what appears to be a young Sam Presti in...
And he's just lactating women everywhere. Breast milk.
Please open the pack.
That's from the Chappelle Show.
Please open the package in front of you.
A CD cover. It says Sam Presti. The title of the album is Milk Money. There's a picture of what appears to be a young Sam Presti in shorts of the time. This feels very much mid-90s, where the shorts are going way past the knee, because that was a time in life where men felt they had to cover up their knees.
So Fab Five. Let's give credit where credit's due.
Yeah.
In skateboard culture, the pants were absolutely ridiculous. You were wearing extraordinarily baggy pants.
So the black and white photo that's kind of like artistically shot, right? Like the foreground woman is out of focus.
Yeah.
The text is like the sans serif red.
Yeah.
You know, it's like a highbrow kind of aesthetic.
Could look at this and say, oh, this is the design style of 7 indie backpack hip-hop albums of the time.
Right. And of that time, it turns out, is Sam Presti. He was a drummer at Emerson College, and it didn't exist anywhere else on the internet.
Yeah.
No one had posted this. There was no audio of his music.
All right, so Sam Presti, they have found a compact disc of his music. Now, what kind of music is it? I think we're about to find out, Adam.
Yes, and you'll find out why it was so difficult for them to find as well with this next clip you have from an Oklahoma City Thunder fan who is also a crate digging record
So
collector.
he's my age.
Yes.
And so when I was in the mid-90s, you know, my youth, you had Jazzmatazz gurus. Jazzmatazz, you had the Tribe Called Quest that Adam just played. There was
Roots were starting out.
There was a great deal of jazz-influenced hip-hop, as Q-Tip addresses at the beginning of the low-end theory, at the very beginning. He tells his father it's kind of like jazz. You understand? This is our generation, not yours.
So a couple years ago, I actually tried to put it on YouTube. I just thought it'd be fun.
Wait, who's this talking?
This is so of course Pablo finds an Oklahoma City Thunder fan who is also a record collector and crate digger, a man by the name of Dara, and he's telling the story about finding the CD by accident.
Right, the Oklahoma hip hop scene. Obviously, you are digging everywhere at these urban record stores for whatever samples you could find.
So a couple years ago, I actually tried to put it on YouTube. I just thought it'd be fun. Wasn't trying to make any money off of it. And I put online just Sam Presti Milk Money, nothing like Thunder GM's hidden rap album. I put online and got a couple of views. And then a couple of days later, I kind of just started getting some messages of just some people asking me to sort of take it down. So eventually I did.
Who asked you to take it down?
So I don't know who they were, but they were just complaining like, hey, should this really be out there? This was kind of something he did when he was young. And I sort of started talking to them, and I don't have any proof of it, but it felt like it was someone who kind of might have known Sam or was in their camp and just like, not really sure if we want that out there. I was just like, okay, I don't want to mess with anyone. I'll just take it down. I don't want to cause any problems.
You don't want to be at war with your favorite basketball team.
I don't want to get banned from Thunder games or anything either.
Yeah, I will say that banned for posting Thunder GM's hidden rap album would be an incredible headline.
All right, so here we are, and all of us are afforded that privacy. Anything we've done in the past is not susceptible to be putting on the internet and then judged. And people are usually given a lot of leeway with that too, because you can say, "Oh, that was 30 years ago. I've changed since then." No, you haven't. No one changes. Mistakes are forever. All right, and now what am I hearing here? This is
this
the record label.
So we've set it up like so now you're thinking, okay, this is something that he kind of did, as a one-off, and
maybe in his basement,
right,
and
exactly.
like it's kind of mean to release it because it was just for him and his friends.
Right, but it turns out that no, this was released on like a proper record label. Which once you play this next cut, I think you'll recognize some of his label mates. Fred, go ahead.
This was put out on Relativity Records. 3-6 Mafia was on Relativity. Common was on Relativity.
It raises the question of like why Sam Presti does not want this on the internet.
I'd have to assume his loose usage of the N-word. If I had to say anything about it. But he's on Relativity Records, so a real
like a
rap label,
hip-hop label.
a real hip-hop label signed him.
Question is it actually so embarrassing that you would want this scrubbed?
Right.
Even though Sam Presti did not want me to do this episode with you, I have done now significantly more than merely acquire this copy of the album Milk Money, an album, by the way, that his longtime PR person, Matt Tumbleson with the Thunder, has never heard before.
Okay.
I am told. What we're kind of doing in this episode is making our own version of one of Sam Presti's favorite things. We're going to make the Milk Money music documentary.
You said the chap we were talking to, his name was Dara?
Yeah.
This is written and produced by Sam Presti under Relativity Records and Dara's Dream Publishing. It's Sam Presti's nightmare, but it seems like it's Dara's dream.
All right, so here we go.
So I think you should start. We gave it to you. We gave you like an actual cut. Like Pablo 4 is the actual song that's on there, Nothing to Lose. But I think you should actually start with the introduction, which is number 5, just so because that's like the first track on the album.
Okay, so this is from the album.
This is we have two tracks, sections of two tracks from the album. But start with the one that's called.
So this is a redheaded, glasses wearing
Emerson kid.
He's like Wallach with like a fire crotch, is what he is. This is like if Wallach had a rap record, a jazz rap album. So this is the introduction. You put the needle on the vinyl.
And this is the first thing you hear.
And this is your introduction to Sam Presti's Milk Money.
Track 1 of Milk Money, the introduction, sounded like this.
Music transcends race, religion, sex. It transcends all of that. It's a reflection of the human heart.
Somebody can decipher that for you, say what it means, and dig what it means. You'll flip. I mean, flip for real.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. Yeah, that's what I tried to do is, because I had all the the music in my head that I wanted to do, but I had to track everybody down. So only way I knew how to do it was just get the people that were close to me that I thought could carry out, and kind of expand on the things that I was thinking about.
This is on the album?
This is the intro to the album. This
is the first track.
This is Sam Presti laying out his manifesto.
Was Concord in the mid-90s, Adam? You were here. Was it notorious for its hip-hop?
It was a hotbed of hip-hop action down at Walden Ponds.
Was it? Yeah,
because they were having ciphers on the shores of Walden Ponds.
Well, I would imagine that, is it Emerson's house that's there? Ralph Waldo Emerson's house?
It's Emerson's house, but of course it was Thoreau who had his.
No, but it's Emerson's house there. I'm saying,
yes,
but Emerson's house, maybe that was like kind of like an underground like shelter type scene with the battles. 8 Mile style.
That's right.
And he was the one plucky white kid in Concord that could come out there and get involved.
Exactly.
Not easy for a white kid in Concord trying to get into the game. And, most great rappers went to Emerson.
So that's the introductory track.
Should I play the rest of it, or is it?
No, I think you probably got the point of it. Now you can actually.
I like albums that explain at the beginning what's going on.
Yeah.
Not so much a skit as an explanation. I'm a dork, but listen, I had the music in my head. All right, so this song is called Nothing to Lose, which I take it is a cover of Kiss's Nothing to Lose.
Precisely.
All right, it samples Nothing to Lose by Kiss at least.
It'd actually kind of be cool.
That would actually be, I'd actually give him respect for that.
That would be nice, yeah.
All right, here we go. I have a feeling it's not good.
The title of what turns out to be the album's 4th track, which is an original song, titled Nothing to Lose.
Freeloading. Yo, here and gone is Mother Nature's sad song. That's why when we alive, we gotta strive and keep on. So shift in the drive now. Put your minds in it.
We're nothing to lose with some gas and some limit. Nothing to lose.
lesson. Chapter 1, slice you a section. From the paragraph, a word craft, a mic lesson. Asset, an incline, slipped in the vinyl groove. Pursued the paragraphs, the polar caps, interludes, laid back.
He sounds like most kids from Carlisle, Concord, Carlisle High School.
Yeah.
He does sound like that. He's developed that urban way of speak.
He did, however, like the music you're hearing is made by his friends. He got his friend who plays piano and saxophone, and Pablo tracks.
He
these
got the guys
down.
from the marching band.
Yeah, from the
not
even
Concord,
from the jazz band,
Carlisle.
from the marching
No,
band.
from the marching band.
The concert band. Yeah.
Yeah, he found it. They wore their uniforms. Actually, that was the gimmick. You know the S1Ws from Public Enemy, how they would dress like military guys.
There you go.
His backing guys just dressed like they were in the band.
Had their marching band.
And then afterwards, they played Dungeons and Dragons
With
in
the
the
plume on the hat.
backstage.
Yeah.
Well, you know what's cool, though? Because I read this profile of Sam Presti, who I think is probably the most fascinating GM in the league. And he went to high school there. I know he's portrayed in the podcast by Pablo as like the cool kid who played basketball. He played basketball. Got C's and D's. Didn't want to hang with all the future Ivy Leaguers that were around there and hung out with kids who were bussed in through a METCO program from Mattapan, Roxbury, and Dorchester. So two of them are the ones that kind of played here in the band and kept in touch. And then he's since come back and gone to clubs with them. But he also has some, as you would expect from like GM, maniacal competitor tendencies, would also sit in the stands in high school of his rival from another team in Acton, Boxborough, kid named Jimmy D, and hung the kid's picture on his mirror in the bathroom.
Oh, isn't that nice?
Like, as I need to take you down. So there's like the jazz playing part of Sam Presti that we're listening to, the dork as you've described. But there's also like the insane sports guy that you would expect.
In the bathroom?
Well, that's why
we saw it every day. People like leave Post-its and
and he got C's and D's. That's why he ended up at Virginia Wesleyan University. Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, I believe that he got.
But he's an
C's and
athlete, so did it really count that he got in?
And that's only Ivy League.
Okay.
That's the case.
Lounge core depth, nothing to lose. And it reminiscing, glisten as I shifted the cruise. On paying dues ain't about aggression or how you dressing. It's progression of minds that can't be learned in one
All right.
session.
Why is he so embarrassed by this? It's stupid, but like
It's
what?
not terrible.
It's yeah. I mean, it's not good, but it's not
It's
like
a product of its time.
Yeah, like if he came out with like something that was like NWA from Concord, then you would be like whatever. But he has a right to rap on some, like, you know, half-ass jazz rap album.
And it's very much a product of that era of music
Sure.
and sounds that way.
They probably were like, we have Common, and this is like a white guy that's sort of like Common, and there you go.
Right, yep.
It is funny though, and I do anyone listening suggest that you do watch the Pablo Torre episode because it is interesting to see him talk to Presti's old bandmates about the music, but the whole last like 15 minutes he gets Branford Marsalis, like the famous jazz saxophone player, to like critique the album, and it's so funny to watch Branford Marsalis try to find like nice things to say,
Right.
like or to say things in a way that are not completely obliterated. Because he's apparently Branford has a relationship, like he knows Sam Presti, like just,
they went out to dinner in New Orleans. He also said on the front end, "Hey, I suck as a teammate on this stuff." He's like, my friends, when they see me come into the room and we play music together, hate it because of how
Super
harsh he
critical.
gets as a critic.
Okay, but wait a second. So why is he so embarrassed about this being out? Does Pablo get into that? Why did Sam Presti?
Because Presti won't get back to him. I was telling you before the show, Presti does 2 press conferences a year, like one at the beginning of the season and then one after.
And then
so
one
I think
over
that's part of his
privacy.
mystique. I think he's a very he's
private
not
guy.
accessible.
Yeah.
He's very private. He wants to kind of have this air of
Because he
mystery.
doesn't want to be forever the funny guy on Happy Days, who's still got it, is what you're saying.
There you go.
You're saying that it's enough with the Donnie Most comparisons.
Yeah.
He's got to go into his hiding. But why is he like so embarrassed about this coming out? There's far more embarrassing things that people have done, myself included. I mean, all it is just dumb. Like, it's just lame. It's not like cringy. It's just it's of its time.
Yeah.
He tried something out.
If they win the
The
title,
introduction's terrible. The introduction's the worst thing that I heard. But that, like, I wouldn't have bought it, and I would have made fun of my friends if they were listening to it. But it's not something that you can like bite in the ass. You know what I'm saying?
No, I agree. I agree. And I think the answer is because he's Mr. Mystique and he doesn't want.
Well, he certainly
it's
looks
less
like
about-
it.
yeah.
I mean, he certainly looks like a man of mystery. He looks like a modern day James Bond, to be honest with you. If James Bond again was at Arnold's and that was where his office was.
if they win the title tonight, you have to play this in the locker room as they're just popping champagne.
I
and
think
spraying
it would
all
just
over everywhere.
It just sounds like something at the dentist office. It like doesn't even sound like anything. It's the most non-offensive thing I've heard in my entire life. It just is. Again, it's just it's not good. It's not embarrassing. It just is. Like it's something like you play it in the locker room, no one would notice.
No, it fits on a playlist, like you were saying earlier, between like a Tribe Called Quest and like Diggable Planets. It's just like it's that very like mid-90s jazz influenced hip hop.
Well, you could be the one who answers to at least Tribe Called Quest on that. I would say that they would be like, oh no, we're better at that
Yes.
than he was. I don't think it fits on a playlist like that at all. I think it fits on a playlist of the people coming out of Concord Carlisle, or maybe even Emerson. Maybe they'll play the Guitar Center where all the other Emerson graduates work, because it really is just a feeding tube into.
Now you're thinking of Berkeley.
Oh, I'm thinking of Berkeley, not Emerson. No, Emerson. Oh, that's right. Yeah. Emerson's just really expensive as Tangway. Yeah, I know this kid. Presti, yeah, he came into my,
They take him to the woodshed.
Yeah,
How about that?
Presti used to come into my thing. I said, hey, kid, pick up that flute and flute loop it. All right, here's the thing. The lips in the fall. Jazz trumpeter. He's got this big gig. Blue Note, heroin guy. Lips get chopped off. Why? Bad dope.
It's awesome.
Now, who's investigating the case? Spanish broad, ass for days. Write it down. Formulate it. Workshop it. That's my elevator pitch.
Yeah.
Presti, you mind coming in and teaching the class? I want to take a nap. All right, very good. Well, there you go. The mystery of Sam Presti is solved. All right, so we'll be back in just a moment. Jay King will be joining us.
You're listening to Toucher and Hardy on the Sports Hub. When you crack a smile, it's good. When you have a crack in your...
This is
I know it's the Bad Brains Pay to Come,
It's
but
the like the single version, I think. I forget which version I pulled, but I just like the single.
Presti had a
And I
second
made an
album,
edit
by
to
the
it,
way.
too. Oh, that's right, he did. Yeah.
it's cleaner than the album version.
Yeah.
All right, very good. Yeah, Presti had a second album. It wasn't bad. I mean, it was bad, but it wasn't like I wouldn't be embarrassed by it. I don't know why he's so embarrassed by it. He is a man of mystery, certainly. All right, look, Jay King. He covers the Celtics for The Athletic. He's following everything that's going on in the NBA. Jay, hello, sir.
How are you guys?
Well, did you know that Sam Presti was signed to Relativity Records as a jazz hip hop artist?
Sam Presti was sort of part of the worst decision of my life.
Okay.
I was recruited by Emerson College to play basketball, and the head coach at the time, Hank Smith was his name, told me if I went there, I'd be an NBA GM. And I was like, this guy's full of crap. There's no chance that if I went there, I'd be an NBA GM. He told me there's this guy, Sam Presti. He's going to be a GM soon. Rob Hennigan, he's going to be a GM soon. I was like, yeah, okay, buddy. And decided not to go there.
Now, what about Emerson was pumping out NBA GMs?
That's a very good question. I think Presti started it all. So when he rose, he kind of brought everybody else along with him, hired a bunch of guys from there, gave them the opportunity to flourish. But it's crazy that Emerson is like the front office capital of the world.
And it's weird because it's like basically a performing arts school, or like certainly not known for its, sports programs or like its business programs. It just shows you that to be a GM in the NBA, there's really no like education that's required. There's nothing you're learning in school that would help.
You just learn from Sam Presti. That's all it takes.
Right. So I'm starting to think none of these jobs are overly difficult. Like, I really am. Between Belichick being a real idiot in real life.
But he
and
has a specific set of skills, Fred.
No, yeah, his dad was a coach, and he just sat around worshiping him. Yeah, I get how he picked up football. But, like, if you put someone who's been hit in the head with a shovel several times in a room and, teach him to put together Legos long enough, he's going to be able to do it. It just shows you that that maybe the people that fail at these things are just real morons. I'm really starting to think that. So, Jay, what was the Emerson program, the basketball program, like?
They had a fine team. I mean, I was no good. I was not one of their top recruits, I'm sure, but they had a fine team. They actually had a good communications program. I should have gone.
No, they have a great communications program. It's
but I had
super
no
expensive.
clue at that time what I wanted to be, and so I just thought he would lie to me. There's no way Jay King is going to be an NBA GM or in an NBA front office.
So it's obviously D3, right?
Yes, it's D3.
Okay, so there's no scholarships. So you would have, but were they willing to work around that, give you some academic help?
No.
Okay.
I was not. I don't think I qualified for academic.
Well, no. That doesn't matter. These D3
You're
schools.
a good enough basketball player, good enough athlete.
No, I don't think I was a good enough basketball player.
Okay, yeah, because if the D3 schools want you bad enough, they'll figure something out. They'll give you at least a little help.
Jay,
Yeah,
that's
they
a
didn't want me bad
GM
enough.
factory, though. When is John Corrales taking the Raptors job?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Corrales screwed that up somehow. They must not have seen the GM trait in John Corrales.
That's our guy. Too bad.
So, Jay, I'm hearing that you tried out for the Maine Red Claws. So you were pretty good at basketball. Like, you wanted to pursue that.
No. I played on the worst college basketball team in the country. We went 2-22 my freshman year, and I was a very small piece of that. So
where'd you end up going?
I went to Skidmore College in upstate New York.
Oh, I know what that is. Yeah.
All right, and that's a D3 program.
D3 program.
Saratoga Springs, baby.
And they didn't give
Liberty
you,
League.
Yeah.
So they didn't give you any money, and yet you still went through all the rigmarole to play basketball. Because I always felt like there were people like on crew at Rollins.
Yeah.
And they would get up at 5 a.m. and do crew, and I'm thinking to myself, why? None of this is leading anywhere. Like, why would you do all this? Like, it's such an incredible waste of time. Now,
But
it could be drinking like I
led me
was.
here to you guys. That's where it led me. I had visions of grandeur when I was younger, but instead I became a lowly writer.
But you must have been good in high school. I mean, if you had the opportunity to play. Basketball is hard to play in college.
I was okay in high school.
Okay.
I was not fantastic. I was like second or third team all region, so not very good.
That's pretty
not good enough.
You were the best player on your team?
No. One of my buddies was really good. He ended up being a D3 All-American, and he was fantastic. Probably should have gone D1, but
yeah, basketball.
There was a book about Charlestown. We played Charlestown my senior year of high school, and they described me as they described my buddy as like this beast. They talked about him for like the whole chapter, and then described the rest of us as slow, methodical white kids, typical of the western part of the state.
I read this book. I know exactly what you're talking about. It was focused on the Charlestown High School basketball coach.
Why? Why was the book written?
How many copies were sold?
Why was the book written?
I bought a copy. I had to.
No,
read
but what's the story?
This guy, whose name escapes me, is a local legend here, and Charlestown was a big-time high school program for a long time.
And they had like a lot of great players come through
did,
there.
right.
Okay, because I'm unaware of that.
Yeah.
All right, because I don't think Charlestown now.
No,
is known
not
as
now,
anything.
but back then, yes.
All right, well, that was my question. It was a legitimate question, and I got my answer. There's no reason to get defensive, jackass. I mean, Jesus, John. All right, Jay. Look, Oklahoma City's you think they're going to win, right? Do you think they're going to win the title? Do you think Indiana has any chance?
I think Indiana has a chance. We've seen Indiana time after time come back from huge deficits. Normally, those are within a single game. This is the first time they've trailed in a series in the playoffs, but they can put a lot of pressure on you. They can score in bunches. If Tyrese Halliburton is right, and that seems like a major if right now, I would give them a chance to at least win at home, force a Game 7. Oklahoma City's young and inexperienced. Who knows what would happen in a Game 7? But I've thought all along the Thunder they're the best team, and there's a gap in how good these teams are. And I think you saw that the other night, like Jalen Williams scoring 40 points. The Pacers don't really have a guy that can go get buckets. The Thunder have two of them. And maybe I'm not giving Pascal Siakam enough credit here, but it just feels like the Thunder, and on top of that, they have, the best defense in basketball and are forcing turnover after turnover after turnover.
What do you think of Halliburton getting all those minutes last game, despite the fact that he wasn't right?
And T.J. McConnell was much better than him.
Stop, come on.
Yeah. That must have been a really hard.
In that game, okay, good.
Yeah, in that game he was. That particular game.
In that game,
I thought we were doing the Maxwell Boston thing of like we're ready to erect a statue of little T.J. McConnell.
No.
Western Mass, slow and methodical.
Off the bench.
No, not Jay. No, he's saying John, but John does favor white kids over anyone. That is true. But that's not what he was saying.
He was just telling me that in the bathroom. I don't know why he brought it up.
Yeah, I mean, he was like, Peyton Pritchard this, Peyton Pritchard that, and then you'd be like, what about Tatum? You go, what about him?
He would have benched Tatum for Pritchard for sure.
Yeah.
But no, the McConnell, I think that must have been a really hard decision because Halliburton clearly had not much. And McConnell was such a difference maker in that game. He was just fantastic, pushing the pace, getting them into offense, scoring more than he ever scored in a quarter. So I'm sure that was a really, really hard decision for Carlisle. I think he went wrong. I think he should have ridden McConnell in that game. It was just very clear that Halliburton couldn't move right.
What if
and against Oklahoma City, that's death.
Yeah, and what if Halliburton isn't right tonight? Is it in the NBA? If you're Carlisle, can you go, hey, I don't want you to get a lot of minutes tonight. You're not right. How does that work when you're dealing with your team's star?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure it's different from star to star and with from injury to injury. But for Halliburton, you've ridden him all year. You kind of have to go down with the ship and just keep trying to feed him, I guess. Thankfully for them, there were two days off in between games, and he gets a chance to rest a little bit. But I think you have to know as Carlisle going into Game 6 that if he's not right again, you have a quicker trigger and you go to McConnell and you just ride McConnell.
That's just it. I mean, you start Halliburton, he's not right. You start him, and then you show him along with everyone else, okay, he can't do this. After 2 or 3 minutes or 4 minutes, he's out. McConnell's in, you haven't lost the game at that point because there's no deficit in the NBA that's big enough for a team to come back these days. So regardless of, say, Oklahoma City jumps out on them, 12-3 or 15-0, there's a long way to go.
Well, I think you also pick your spots, right, Jay? Like the high leverage minutes he'll start, maybe sits through the bridge of the first and second quarter, maybe late, closer to halftime, and then you're just trying to save him as much as you can because he's not a guy, like he is a bucket getter when he wants to be, but I think that the style that he prefers to play has become very evident, right? He's going to identify the flow of the game and then just kind of amplify that for them and not necessarily dictate or put his imprint like we've all become accustomed to. This guy has to score and dominate and ball handle and have a high usage rate.
Yeah, and I think it'll probably be pretty evident early on whether he can move right. You could tell, like the last game, even when he was on the court, they weren't always running offense through him. They were letting other guys initiate it, and that's not how they normally play. Normally, the possession starts with Halliburton, and he's getting the ball and he's finding other guys. That starts everything going for them. That flow that they kind of rely on, and he just didn't have that. So, yeah, I think you play him early if he has it. Keep going with it. Play him as many minutes as you can. It's an elimination game. You've got to do what you got to do. But if he doesn't, McConnell is one of the better backup point guards, certainly capable of keeping you in it and making you competitive.
All right. Now, is anything of the way these teams formulated, I might have asked you this before, but time has gone by, make you change your mind about what the Celtics should do this offseason as they try to cut salary and know that Tatum's hurt?
I don't think so. If you're the Celtics, you probably think the East is wide open. I don't think you look at Indiana or anyone else, New York, whoever you want to put in that conversation. The East is wide open. The problem is Tatum might miss all of next season. If he does come back next season, he'll probably be compromised. To shed salary, you're going to have to lose somebody significant. You might have to lose more than one significant piece, probably will. You have Al Horford and Luke Cornett, who are both free agents. If you have to shed a lot of salary, maybe those guys aren't back. So there are just a lot of factors that go into their mindset right now, including the determination of whether you want to get under the second apron, which wouldn't take that much pain, I guess is the word, or whether you want to get under the luxury tax and reset the repeater tax, and that would take significant cuts. Maybe parting ways with a franchise cornerstone. And so that's the problem. That's the dilemma that they're going to be facing right now. And the Tatum injury certainly complicated everything for them.
Yeah. And if we get to talk to you again this offseason, what's going on with Durant is fascinating. And who actually wants him is interesting. All right. And where he'll go. Jay King, listen. Read about his athletic prowess in this book about the Charleston coach.
Slow, methodical white kid. I'll never forget that.
Yeah, it's not a compliment. And then you can go to Skidmore.
I had like 20 that game too. It was so devastating.
I know. It's like, how do you, the ball's going in the basket. What do you want out of me? Yeah, exactly. I'm doing the best I can over here.
I was slow, methodical, and white. I'm not.
So is Mikhail. So I mean, listen, you're in good company. All right, listen, Jay. Thank you so much for the time. We appreciate it.
Thanks for having me, guys.
All right, there you go. Jay King. And learning all I need to know about Sam Presti. I'm done learning about Sam Presti. All right, we'll be back in just a moment. Hey, we're Toucher and Hardy. Andrew Callahan's in for Hardy today. I'm finding out, John, when we were at the Travelers Championship yesterday on location, the boys back here in the studio were having a little bit of sport on me.
Oh, is that
expense.
right? What happened? What did I miss?
Johnny, the night before the Travelers, as I was coming back from dinner in wherever the hell city in Connecticut we were in.
Rocky Hill,
Connecticut,
yes.
Which seemed fine.
Yeah.
I went to a Cumberland Farms and I bought myself 2 bottles of Coke, one Coke Zero, one Coke Zero Cherry. Don't worry about it.
Hey, now.
And then the guy that was running the thing came by and gave me another Diet Coke. But what they were doing here was making sport of me, much like people did with Mike Francesa and his Diet Cokes. And they were watching the levels go down of the Diet Cokes, and they were having a little cute conversation behind the scenes at my expense.
We were figuring you'd average about 1 an hour, and that's what it came out to. There was one that you were behind on, I think, in the 8 o'clock
I didn't
hour.
finish the third one, so that's impossible. There's 4 hours of the show. Your math is completely off.
Well, that's right. Well, that's because
I
you
came
didn't drink
strapped
in the last
with 2.
hour. So you came strapped with 2. They brought you a third one, but then it must have been the second one because there was one that.
But the first one was opened in the hotel room.
Oh, I see. So you came.
I came equipped with 2, under the expectation there would be no soda there.
Yes.
So that was
It's good to be prepared. You didn't come with a pen, but you came with Diet Coke. That's good.
Rocky Hill.
Yeah, I should have come with a pen.
Yeah. Rocky Hill treating you better than Phoenix, Arizona did.
Well, no, I went and bought.
Actually,
Rocky.
true.
Yeah. Well, that was the
Actually, if
point.
you're going to make that comparison, he's
they
right.
traded us
That's
100
correct.
times better. It was the difference between being in a hostel and being at the Four Seasons.
But here's the thing, though. The level was going down. We thought you weren't going to finish it before the end of the hour. But then when you got breakfast, I said, that's it right there. He's going to need to wash down the breakfast.
But
with
I
what's
didn't
left
eat
of the
breakfast.
DC. You had food. Did I not watch you eat food?
I had a piece of a muffin.
Oh, okay. Well, I couldn't tell from here. I just thought you were all.
Well, I mean,
breakfast.
if you're gonna go through the exercise, it seems like you're way off on everything. I came strapped with 2 Cokes. One of them I opened to take my medicine, my brain medicine, in the morning. If I don't do that,
look out.
Daddy's going to need some help.
I legally have to take that stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, 10 milligrams of Prozac makes all the difference in the world. It's really worth picking up. 10 milligrams of Prozac, that one tiny pill on a 185-pound man. Woof!
You don't take that pill, and the whole show
It
is.
don't matter.
Yeah.
None of this matters.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. I fall into a real depression. 10 milligrams of Prozac. Might as well take a sugar pill. So anyway, but I washed it down with that. And then I came and I finished that one and I finished the other one. But I never even finished. I threw away or recycled, Adam, if it makes you feel better.
Thank you.
Recycled the third one. and I had to pour some of it out because I had it for so long it got warm.
Oh, I see.
What was the bet though? What was
There was
the
no
sport?
bet. We were just
it was just making fun of me.
Because usually Fred drinks his sodas out of a can. He has the DC and he has the poopy. He's drinking the poopy right now. There's the one, the orange can there.
Yeah, I'm drinking. I'm drinking feces.
It's got the It's got that's the name, brand name, right? Poopy.
Poopy should be in a brown can.
No, it's not called poopy, and you know that. You're being cute.
I'm being cute. But that's got the probiotics in it. But you know what? I lost count at the end when the whole thing went haywire here in the station, and I got Zolak running around like a maniac in here yelling.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm glad he did. He put you in your place. You were sitting over there just having the time of your life.
Nothing I would have gone to HR about, but good for you, Adam.
I just come in and be nice to people.
That's right.
That's my point on Adam is that what he really is a bully.
Yeah.
Scott was worried that he was going to go to HR, but he can't because he's in such a glass house.
Oh, he's on the list.
This came up because I went downstairs trying to get a soda, but it's Juneteenth. I forgot about Juneteenth.
Mm-hmm.
We're in a weird place with holidays professionally because there are your Christmases and your Thanksgivings that are no one works, and they just play Fox Sports. But now and I'm all for it. I mean, listen, it meant many federal holidays we can get. That's fantastic. But now we're at a point. Now they don't even know what to do with Columbus Day. It's got 1,000 names. But you really don't get that off necessarily either. So we've gotten to and then there's Martin Luther King Day, which that one seems to get more people off than these other ones. A lot of these are just government holidays. But we've gotten to a point, which is, I'm not complaining about the number of holidays. What I'm complaining about is corporations are starting to have to make decisions, and they're just starting to give you floating holidays and saying because they don't want to get the backlash if you say, why don't we have Juneteenth off? Because they'll turn around and they'll go, well, we gave you a floating holiday. And then you're like, well, then how was I supposed to take Columbus Day off? And they go, the Columbus Day is a bad day. And they go, they don't like that. So we're getting to a crisis point with holidays where they're really becoming no use to me because everything should be about me, and I'm working them. This isn't even, we're not even getting a comp day for this, Jonathan. I'll let you know.
I thought it was this or something else. You get one comp day.
No.
Okay.
No, you get a floating holiday for the year, but that's at the beginning of the year.
I see.
That's just kind of in name only. It's like in honorarium of these two holidays.
I got to talk to Corporate Louth about this.
But you do get a comp day for working like Memorial Day, Labor Day, or Martin Luther King Day. Those are comp days.
Right.
But this, no comp day.
We worked Martin Luther King Day, did we not?
That's right.
I did. Yeah.
We all did.
The show did. I was the leader.
We did Memorial Day as well. We did MLK Day and Memorial Day.
Okay, it was Memorial Day that I'm thinking.
We moved as a unit now.
Yeah.
Did I work Martin Luther King Day?
I don't remember.
I might have taken it off.
I think I took it off because I'm not racist. Yes. Let that sit. So no, I did not work Martin Luther King Day. I was doing something.
Yeah, Memorial Day is a show we decided to work.
Yes,
That's
Memorial Day we worked
yes,
because that was more of a. We were just taking it out on the veterans. We just didn't want to celebrate that.
We're not following. We're not supporting them.
But you did get a comp day for that. So Juneteenth is just so far negatively affected me, in that my kids, my daughter doesn't have school, and I can't get soda. So far Juneteenth is a losing proposition.
Well, there's only an hour left of the show. I think you'll make it.
Oh, I'll make it, Johnny.
Yeah.
It feels like it's canceling out your working MLK Day, or not working out MLK Day because you're not racist.
It's a good point. This is a good way to get
Juneteenth
you back.
is about you?
Back to even. That's a good point.
Well, I didn't have the option of taking it off.
Oh.
You know, so I mean, I am supporting. I have alimony and child support, and as well as my own expenses that I have to pay. I'm taking care of a lot of people. I'm making the world a better place.
10 milligrams at a time.
Exactly. 10 milligrams of Prozac fixes everything. It's well worth it. If I don't take it, you should see me. I'm like, where's the Prozac? I got to take the 10 milligrams.
I think it wears off mid 2 stats and a lie as you're deliberating.
Yeah. That's what's coming up, Fred.
You know, if something has to do something to wear off. I'm really on the point of I don't know if any of this is doing anything. I don't feel badly. I just don't think it does anything. All right, we'll be back. But you heard him. Andrew Callahan did come up with the 2 stats and lie in honor of his appearance on this Juneteenth, and we will have that for you in just a moment.
You're listening to
Felger and Maz. Joe Murray. For Boston sports fans, it's 98.5, the Sports Hub. Paisley Media Group Station. Sports Hub headlines. Presented by Celsius Energy Drinks.
Red Sox now have 9 wins in 11 games following a 3-1 win in Seattle yesterday afternoon. Trevor Story hit a 2-run homer. Marcelo Meyer added a solo shot. And Garrett Crochet allowed 1 run in 6 innings for the win. In fact, Alex Cora got a great outing from all 4 pitchers he put out there.
It's huge. We've been pitching well. I've been saying all along, if we pitch, we're going to have a shot. And today, Garrett, he kind of like grinded the first few innings, and then he found his groove. Wood was really good. Chappie put the top of the lineup, and Greg finished it.
Sox didn't have a hit after Story's homer with 1 out in the 4th inning. They managed 3 hits for the day, and they still managed to win. Next up is a 3-game series against Rafael Devers and the Giants out in San Francisco. Devers 0 for 3 late last night. Giants lost to Cleveland for a second straight evening, 4-2. Big news in the NBA. The Buss family has sold majority interest in the Lakers to Dodgers owner Mark Walter. It is a reported price tag of $10 billion. Game 6 of the finals is tonight in Indianapolis. The Pacers trail Oklahoma City 3-2. Star point guard Tyrese Halliburton questionable for Indiana with his strained calf muscle. And the Edmonton Oilers have reportedly signed former Bruin Trent Frederick to an 8-year contract extension worth between $3.5 and $4 million a season. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by Rapid Flow Sewer and Drain Cleaning, Boston's most experienced drain company with over 30 trucks in their fleet, and they are only trusted by MassDOT and Massport. 800-286-FLOW or rapidflowinc.com, celebrating 40 years. I'm John Wallach at Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 9:30.
Get the
There's the potential there for big stuff.
98.5 The Sports Hub app. Get the app.
Why do people listen to Touch Your
Because it's a thing.
All right.
You know what I'm talking about.
Sure.
No idea what you're talking about.
Here's more of The Thing on the Sports Hub.
Which brings me, though, to my 2 stats and a lie. 2 of these stats are obviously the truth. 1 is a lie. Some imaging with this would be fun.
Hey, we are Toucher and Hardy. Andrew Callahan is here. That means we're going to do 2 stats and 1 lie. You can watch this on YouTube. If you subscribe to 98.5 The Sports Hub on YouTube, that would be fantastic. All right. Andrew.
Wait, real quick, Fred, do you want the real intro first?
Yeah. I forgot about it.
Let's do this. It takes 2 steps from the other night. And one might see you can get it right. It takes 2 steps from the other night. And one might see you can get it right.
Isn't there another one?
Oh, there's many more.
There are 5 more.
Would you like another? I can.
Yeah.
Please, sir, may I have some more?
I mean, I'm in the spirit.
Yes, you may. Hold on for one moment here. Let's just let this kind of do its thing, and then we'll kind of do this.
Andrew has 2 stats, but he has just 1 lie. Andrew has 2 stats, but he has just 1 lie.
There you go. And then we'll play the Michael Jackson one at the end. All right. So this is the happy one. This is Summer Days.
It's usually my goodbye.
Yeah.
That's all right.
But you know what?
All
We're changing things up.
I like
we're
that.
having fun.
That's fine.
All right.
More
So
team is good.
John was like, said to off the air, he said, hey, you could do 2 lies and a stat. And then John said, but that was too tricky for Fred, which he's right. But we'll have to remember, John finished last in this for the season by a significant amount. So despite my not being able to totally grasp the concept of this, I still did much better than you, smart ass.
And it eats at me. It does. You had no idea what you were doing, and you still blew my doors off.
Yes. There you go.
It's always next season.
It can't be just blind luck. Absolutely. Andrew Callahan will be back next season.
I'm also, I got to say, I miss Hardy scribbling over the piece of paper, jotting things down, sometimes doing math, took it the most seriously, kept the standings.
He's a Confederate guy. He's a competitive guy. He's a very competitive guy.
Juneteenth as well.
Yeah, Juneteenth, not here. Could be either or both.
Listen, he has a son to take care of, but yeah, he's very competitive. Very competitive.
Yep.
And who did the best? Him, right? Or did I?
He beat you by one game.
Beat you by one, yeah.
Okay, he beat me by
I
one.
was 3 behind you, I think.
No, more than that. All right, here we go. Yeah, it was more than that.
All right, number 1. According to DraftKings, it is more likely the Red Sox miss the playoffs than the Patriots miss the playoffs. Right now at DraftKings, their odds say it is more likely the Red Sox miss the playoffs than the Patriots miss the playoffs.
Ooh, okay. The Red Sox are technically in the playoffs right now.
Yeah, 39 and 37, last spot in the wild card.
Yeah.
Number 2, in the regular season, Mike Vrabel has more wins as a head coach than he did sacks as a player. In the regular season, Mike Vrabel has more wins as a head coach than he did sacks as a player. And I will give you one of those numbers upon request if you want a little bit later.
Okay.
Just one. Number 3, all players.
Let's ask for different ones.
Yeah, exactly. Let's trick them.
Number 3, all players who have hit more home runs than Rafael Devers in a Red Sox uniform either made the Hall of Fame or got votes. All players who have hit more home runs than Rafi Devers in a Red Sox uniform either made the Hall of Fame or received votes.
Okay. I'm confident. I'm very confident about this.
Oh,
I'm very
have at
confident.
it.
Well, no, if you have a question that he was willing to answer.
Give me, all right, I need one of the numbers. Vrabel has more wins as a head coach than sacks as a player. How many sacks did he have?
He had 57 sacks in the regular season as a player.
It's going to be one of those numbers that's going to be close one way or another.
Yeah, of
like
course.
He had 58 wins or 56 wins.
All right. Well, I'm the star, John, so I'll go last. I'm just kidding. Do you want to go first?
No, go right ahead. I'm still mulling this over.
Okay, so you're mulling it over.
I am.
Just repeat quickly what they are so that people can play at home.
All right, number 1. Right now at DraftKings, the Red Sox are more likely to miss the playoffs than the Patriots are to miss the playoffs. Number 2, in the regular season, Mike Vrabel has more wins as a head coach than he did sacks as a player. Number 3, all players who have hit more home runs than Rafi Devers in a Red Sox uniform either made the Hall of Fame and or received votes.
Okay, so here is what I have for you.
That's active and inactive, like the whole leaderboard list.
Okay, yeah. All right, so Wade Boggs is in the Hall of Fame for the Red Sox. He had like 4 home runs. So Devers would have more.
Mm-hmm.
Devers. So the guys that are in the Hall of Fame for the Red Sox are Jim Rice, Carl Yastrzemski, Ted Williams, David Ortiz, and then you figure Fred Lynn got votes for the Hall of Fame. Carlton Fisk is in the Hall of Fame. You figure because getting votes for the Hall of Fame is not overly difficult. So number 3 is a stat. That is a stat. I'm almost positive that's a stat. This is what I do. See, I put extra stakes on. Hype it up a little bit. I can't imagine that the Patriots, as currently constructed, have more of a chance in Vegas of less of a chance in Vegas of making the playoffs than the Patriots, who are not good. So I'm saying that is a lie. I think John's on the right pace. I think Vrabel was great in college, and he was a good NFL player, but he was certainly not a great NFL player. He was. I don't. Do you recall him being that good a pass rusher?
I think it was more the scheme than him.
Yeah, but I don't recall him being like a wrecking ball. Like
he was a significant contributor to.
No, he was, but he was. But that was more that all unit, except for like Ty Law and stuff. Always struck me as more of a collective than anything else. So I'm going to say that's a stat. I'm going to say that Vrabel has more wins than sacks because I'm of the mind he didn't have a lot of sacks. Now I think the number, like you said, John, if the number's 57, I don't think it's a lot. but by a lot. But there you go. All right, what do you got, John?
So
I have one is the lie.
One is the lie. Okay.
One is the lie.
I actually was feeling that Vrabel really struggled at the end of his tenure at Tennessee, and that would keep his win total down. So I think 3 is a stat. I think 1, more likely the Red Sox missed the playoffs than the Patriots. They're in playoff position now. More likely the Red Sox missed the playoffs than the Patriots. I think, I'm going to say without going too crazy, I think 2 is the lie.
All right, so he thinks Vrabel's
it's
wins.
close, but 2's the lie.
He thinks he has more sacks than wins.
More wins than sacks.
More wins than sacks.
Yes.
I think he has more wins than sacks.
I think it's close, but he's just a little
You think he has more sacks than wins?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. Don't confuse me any more than I have to. He thinks Vrabel
I was worried about you.
Vrabel has more sacks than wins.
Yeah.
He was the one who screwed up in my mind.
My fault. My fault.
Yeah. Don't
you
get
have
confused.
1 is the lie.
I think that the Patriots have to be less of a chance in Vegas of making the playoffs than the Red Sox.
So I'm just going to speak for Hardy here because he always likes to needle me over the language. And the start of the Vrabel statement, number 2, is in the regular season. This is where if he was here, would be going, Callahan, he had more sacks in the playoffs. That's why he excluded it. I'm going to say 2 is true.
Yeah.
And he would pick 1 or 3 as a lie. That's my take on what Hardy would have done.
He's got 1 as the lie. I've got 2 as the lie.
Any more guesses back there?
I've got 1 as the lie. And you read 1, and I immediately said that's the lie.
All right.
Didn't even need to hear 2 and 3.
Can we have Sam Presti on the drums?
Just on the cool jazz flute.
Yeah.
2 stats and a lie. It's a new season. Because John Wallach is correct.
Yeah.
Really?
2 was the lie.
Andrew's got 2 stats.
That's right, I am. Correct. Only 1 in the room who got that one. Thank you.
All right, very interesting. Vegas has got the Patriots. What percentage does it?
So here are the odds to miss the playoffs. Red Sox right now minus 225. They have the Patriots at minus 175.
I'm shocked.
The Patriots are minus what?
175 to miss the playoffs. If you think the Patriots
No,
are
I understand how gambling works.
Yeah.
That seems wow. It's minus money that they make the playoffs? They stink.
I agree.
Don't you agree? You think they're going to make the playoffs?
No, but that's saying if you want to win $100, you got to put down 175. So they're saying it's both are likely to miss the playoffs.
Right.
But between them, the Red Sox are basically a lock, like a 2-1 lock.
Yeah, okay. All right.
It's plus money if you want to bet the Pats to make the playoffs.
No, I understand.
Okay.
I understand.
Number 2, in the regular season, Mike Vrabel has 54 wins.
Yeah, see?
He had 57 sacks as a player.
At the end, he really struggled.
He had 07 when they go undefeated. You talk about scheme and feasting off everybody else. He made all-pro team, had something like 12, 13, 14 sacks.
Okay.
Number 3, Rafael Devers is 10th all-time in home runs hit by a Red Sox player. Those ahead of him, Ted Williams, David Ortiz, Yaz, Jim Rice, Dwight Evans, only got a couple of votes, Manny Ramirez, who got votes, Mo Vaughn also got votes, not in the hall, Bobby Dorr, and Jimmy Fox.
Okay. All right. Well done, Jonathan.
Let's hear it, baby.
Too bad
Well
it doesn't
done.
count.
1-0 this summer.
Soaring up the standards. One flap of the wings at a time.
And then I got confused about the gambling aspect. So I did get confused about something today.
This is why it's not 2 lies and a stat.
Yeah.
We didn't change it.
I got confused with the minus money. It was too much for my brain to handle. There was too many things going on.
I have a bonus stat. I don't know if you want it now before we go to break or right after.
Yeah,
okay.
We got time.
So, DraftKings has the odds of your Jets, Fred, meeting the Giants in the Super Bowl at plus 1 million.
They'll never pay it off either.
Okay. Are you more likely then to see the Jets and Giants in the Super Bowl this season or in your lifetime be struck by lightning?
Oh, in your lifetime being struck by lightning.
Be struck by lightning easily.
Like, got you again.
Really?
Plus 1 million is 1 in 10,000, so they're both ridiculous. But according to the National Weather Service, your likelihood of getting struck by lightning in your lifetime is 1 out of 15,300.
All right. Well, I didn't understand that really either.
No,
I thought it was like 1 in a million, so I didn't understand that. You're asking me to discuss sports gambling, which I rarely participate in. All right. Well, listen. I bet you the Jets make the playoffs this year. I really do.
With Justin Fields as a quarterback.
Justin Fields is such an improvement on Aaron Rodgers.
I know.
I heard a guy talk about it. I heard a Jets guy on national radio talk about it. He said, belief in Aaron Rodgers is box score analysis. If those who are
it's a great call.
Is box score analysis, because I can truly say I saw every snap he took last season, every single one of them, and he was atrocious. Now there was a couple games he was good against the Patriots in
that first matchup, good against the Patriots.
Atrocious. I mean, and the defense sucked too, but believe me, they had times in games where they could have put a death nail in, and he let him hang around. He threw a pick six to Leonard Williams. Leonard Williams, 400 pounds.
Yeah.
He threw a pick six to him.
You're more likely to get struck by lightning than seeing a Leonard Williams pick six, and there it is.
And by the way, he didn't bat it in the air and catch it. It hit him in the chest. It hit him in the chest in a situation where the play had gone on for long enough that he, A, was in a position where he could hit in his chest, and B, he had no one around him. So he
outran everyone.
Oh, by the way, the pick six wasn't a 10-yard pick six. It was like a 60-yard pick six. I'm not exaggerating. Like, it was on the other side of the field.
Was he pressured?
He couldn't have been that pressured because Leonard Williams was as far out of the play as he was. He must have been pressured.
Yeah.
He must have been pressured because
melts immediately now.
Yeah, he melts immediately. Yeah, so he was pressured. Yeah, he must have been in a position where he had to walk, and so Leonard Williams fell off his block, and kind of shadowed at Rodgers, and he just threw it right to him, right in his chest. But that, in fairness, I could see not noticing him there.
How did the Jets beat the Patriots 24-3?
Because the Patriots are horrible.
They ran the football the entire second half to keep the score down.
Well, by the way, they should have won that game. What they should have done in that game is put their foot on the gas and really kick the crap out of the Patriots to get some sort of momentum going instead of just sitting on it. Salah couldn't coach either. Gary, everything's got to be improvement. It can't be worse. Aaron Glenn's got to be better than Robert Saleh. Anyone's better than Hackett.
Patriots roster has to be better than last year.
Well, the Patriots roster is better than last year. I don't think that there is. The Jets have got at least 3 All-Pros on that team.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, even though Sauce Gardner doesn't like tackling, he still is an effective corner.
Hey, Deion didn't either. Don't you worry. Sauce is going to be good.
I heard Sauce is signing with the Milwaukee Brewers in the offseason. He's going to be with them. So he's following Deion's career to a T. All right, we'll be back in I know he played for the Braves, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be back in just a moment.
Toucher and Hardy, 98.5.
We should do the email bit. It's a great idea. Let's do the email bit.
Hey, we're Toucher and Hardy. If you want to email us, go to 985thesportshub.com. Find our email addresses. You can follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Toucher and Hardy. You can follow me at Fred Toucher, where I'm building. We're in a lull right now. I'm not putting up a lot of content, but we are in a lull. I'm going now to my new my followers. We're stuck at 25,323.
You got that 8th grade move up today, right?
I do.
That's a layup right there.
There you go.
Family photo.
Couple pictures.
Well, just maybe a photo of you and the kid. I mean,
But it's tomorrow is the 8th grade graduation. Today's Juneteenth.
Right.
Get that straight. You can't have a graduation on today.
Naturally.
And so
sounds like 2 layups though.
So you're saying exploit my family? Maybe I could find a catchphrase to do, like the boom guys. Yeah, Zoe's more apt to. Milo's got his own social media thing happening. You have to have social media now if you play sports. They ask for it. Like when you fill out the stuff that they take to like recruiters and like scouts, it has to have your they want a Twitter account too, and I'm like, ugh. But you had a Twitter and a Instagram account. You have to have those. They want them. They want that information. It's very strange. But I could get my daughter, I think, and really exploit everything and really get it going.
She was in a couple of videos with you in Detroit, right?
Well, she walked. I called her name, and she walked in and was laughing. Yes, and then she wanted me to do the one video with the dancing, but no, I asked them if they want to be in it.
Sure,
but I'm talking about like a gimmick to really, and then we can start selling stuff like an ice cream bowl that freezes, and then you put your ice cream in there, like the Boom Guys does.
Guys, of course we go shopping while eating a chicken bake.
Yeah, it's like relatable.
Yeah. What do you get your parents dancing? You know. I think that's the ultimate gimmick.
My father would fall over and break his hip, and then that's going down.
That's another layup.
Yeah, that's going down.
Then you're in the ambulance. You know,
just start with her, go to you, and then to them.
It would be like the. I think you should leave bit with the coffin place that everyone falls out of the coffins naked. We would. It would just be old people falling. I could do that, starting with my own father, and it would be like the Tom Green show with death. All right. I don't know what to do. All right. Go ahead.
This Sarah from Everett always emails us. But you know when she emails me more than any other time? When this man is here, she loves Andrew Callahan.
Because you're closest to him, yeah.
Yeah. My boyfriend this is her emailing. My boyfriend's a CEO at a bank. He's able to let me know all the new holidays we get to celebrate throughout the year. Dog walkers usually work those holidays for a double rate. P.S. I like Andrew C. a lot, and I love that he dislikes Fred's takes. His dismissiveness of Fred is hot.
I'm afraid of you.
That's when I creeped out Sarah.
Did I dismiss you in a loud way today?
Yes, several times. It's really been off.
It doesn't matter. She just needs an excuse to express to you
sink in
that
today
can.
because it's your last time, Andrew. All right, I need the SWV song that you played earlier because
You
I'm
want
doing
that right
something
now?
here. Yeah, let's do that now.
Right here, right now.
It's bugging to you, but it's one of those things that I truly believe. No one likes Sonic Youth. I know that for a fact. Everyone's pretending to like Sonic Youth. They're unlistenable, and they're dorks. Just because they lived in New York City and had cool friends doesn't mean that they're cool.
That's one of my favorite takes of yours of all time, by the way. It was like shortly after we started working together, and you'd like everyone owns a Sonic. Everyone who thinks they're cool or wants to pretend to be hip owns a Sonic Youth record, but never listens to it.
Like Thurston Moore is a
so
dork.
Spot on.
Like he's like just a dork, and
He's
I
kind of an
understand
a-hole,
he
too.
had like he's a huge a-hole.
Yeah.
And Kim Gordon seemed much nicer, but I'll tell you that. I know they had like cool friends and they were synonymous with New York at a cool time, and I know all of that. But every other band out of there was far superior to Sonic Youth because they're not good. And I think what's a lot of times called experimentation is just people sucking and people buying into liking that. Now, here is something of more practical importance. This is from Andrew, who emails frequently. How can Andrew sit at Zoe's spot with no mic condom? Because you are at Zoe's spot, and usually people put a mic condom on, like what John has on his microphone.
Familiar with the condom.
Yeah, because really? At your
good.
age? All right, to each his own. Can't really catch anything anymore. All right, so
wait. So what is that presupposing that like the germs leap off if you're?
well,
close
no,
enough to,
he cakes like he'll tell you like he's like a really dirty guy, like he's like disgusting.
There have been times I've sat there and stuff is stuck to the monitor in front of me.
Right. And every time Kendra comes in and sits in my chair, she starts.
That's a whole other thing.
She starts complaining, but it's pulling pigtails, as Hardy would say, because this mic is clean. It's clean. And she'll go, oh, well, this was on it. Like this booger was on it. It was something like gross, like a booger. Like I wiped the booger on the microphone. And I'll look at it. It's like a speck. Oh, you mean over all these years, a speck got on the microphone? Quit pulling my pigtails, woman.
Booger on it? What is it, your dad's dashboard? Come on.
Oh, my dad, the booger mobile that my father drives.
That was a problem,
my kids do
Does
not
Andrew
like
know
driving
about the booger mobile? I don't think Andrew knows about the booger mobile.
What there's nails, like his nails, like whatever my father does in that car. He's got a Jeep Cherokee. It's got 150,000 miles on it. He's so proud of it. When he bought it, it was used, and the guy he bought it from had all these like bass speakers in the back, like bazookas in the back. And my dad was concerned about these loose wires. So this is how old this car is. So my dad was concerned about these loose wires. And the guy who sold it to him goes, oh, don't worry about them. And he touched them together, and it shorted out the car. So they had to go and remove all that stuff.
Like in the way you would watch movies and you would hot start a car?
Yeah. Well, no, they were just loose wires
Hot
in
wire?
the back. And it wasn't hot wire in the car. The car was on.
opposite.
The car was on. And he's like, don't worry, these wires are dead. Like, we can get rid of them. And he goes, I'll show you. And he touched them together, and the car, it shorted out the car, went and shorted out the car because they were live wires. My father would have been driving around with live electrical wires in the back of the car. But that's how long my dad, it's got maybe 175 miles on it. I mean, if it was a Subaru, Adam would literally, he would have sex with it. But he's so proud of it. But my kids don't like driving in it because my dad's disgusting. And there's things that appear to be boogers and certainly chewed and spit out nails all over it. It's a real gross situation.
That's disgusting. Roll the window down.
It's not like not even trying to have sex with my mom anymore. You would think that he would be still trying to seduce her after 60 years of marriage or however long it's been.
That's gross.
I mean, I know that my mom must put up with a lot because they're constantly having sex. Oh, yeah, I'll call up and I'll just hear, what, Freddie? We're in the middle of a sesh. And I'll be like, guys. No, I think once you've been married for 50 years, the magic is gone. You start wiping boogers on the council. There you go. All right. Do you have another email,
You have
Jonathan?
to post. I have one email, and it's very straightforward. But I need some parents' content. The way we've been able to talk about them today and the stories I've heard. Something on the Instagram this weekend.
Yeah, but my parents are all nice. Like they act all nice when the camera's on them. Like they start behaving. They're nice people. Just not always to me. Go ahead.
This one just came in. I don't know if it's true or not. Sonic Youth is the IPA of rock bands, fellas.
Yeah, that's absolutely true.
Is that absolutely true?
Yeah, because people pretend to like Hetty Topper, and it's disgusting, and everyone knows it is. But they have now fooled themselves because it's hard to find.
I like Hetty Topper.
Yeah, no, you don't. And by the way, so how much does it cost a can?
Oh, it's a disgusting
Like
amount of money.
$6.
Yeah, like $5, $6 a can.
It don't cost $5-6 a can because it tastes good. And by the way, I bet you it costs more than that. Go ahead.
They can't get enough of it.
We had a Manny call
disgusting.
earlier today. Disagreed with him about Devers. This was 2 days ago in my inbox from a Manny F. You're wrong. They didn't cheap out. They got rid of a selfish prima donna who didn't put the team first. They're already paying big money for Giolito and Walker and Story and Crochet. They made out pretty good with San Francisco having to take on his salary. You're almost as negative, Callahan, as the, quote, curly-haired boyfriend, end quote.
That's a compliment.
Wait a second. So he's using Giolito as a high-priced player and Walker Buehler as a high-priced player? Well, that's big market stuff.
It is 1 year.
I mean, this is the problem with the game. Yeah. Is that Walker Buehler 1 year deal when the Dodgers didn't want him anymore. That is the problem. That is the problem. He hit the nail on the head. All these huge-priced superstars that they've invested in. I mean, they were in on everyone. I mean, Soto, I heard it was just a matter of he flipped a coin between the Mets and the Red Sox. They were in on that.
Same with Max Fried.
Yeah, everyone.
Right before the Crochet deal.
Yeah.
Couldn't make that happen. So, sure, White Sox, name your price.
The Crochet deal was great. and they extended him, and that's fantastic. Good on them. I love the deal when it happened. There's no excuse for this deal. There's just none. They got nothing in return for their best player, and their best player is 28. And he'd be good for 7-8 more years, and they just decided no. By the way, 7-8 more years. It's not like that contract's going to be a lot of money. I mean, it's going to seem completely reasonable.
It's already reasonable.
Yes.
A bat like that making less than $30 million
Well, if people go,
year?
he's a DH. He's not worth that money as a DH.
I love that argument because that presupposes you want him on the field to provide more value when everyone, including those who are pro-Devers, would tell you he was atrocious at third and first base would have been even worse. So to me, that would have been dragged down on his value. Not to mention the first year as a DH. He was leading the AL in walks at the time of the trade and having his best season ever because he just got to focus on hitting. The curly-haired boyfriend, though, that's a stray at Shaughnessy, is it?
Yes,
Is it not?
yes, it is.
Yeah,
It's a compliment to you. You're being compared to
that's
him.
what. Who called him that on the Red Sox?
That was Carl Everett.
Yeah, Carl Everett.
Carl Everett called him that.
Which is if Carl Everett's calling you names, you know you're in trouble
Made it, yeah.
he was a reserved, intelligent man. All right, look, we will break and we will come back. Who's doing the stack today?
I have some stuff.
Johnny's doing the stack today. All right, Johnny Wallgame.
I can do it if you
I
want.
want you to do it.
All right.
I don't want to do it.
All right, good.
I got tomorrow off. I'm going to baseball games and the graduations.
Let's see if we can't give you a soft landing.
I'm partying this weekend. All right, we'll be right back.
Essential Sports Hub. Presented by Celsius Energy Drinks.
Red Sox managed only 3 hits yesterday in Seattle, but 2 of them were homers, and that was enough to leave Seattle with a 3-1 win and 2 victories in 3 games against the Mariners this week. Marcelo Meyer, a solo home run. Trevor Story, a 2-run shot. Red Sox have tonight off. They visit Rafael Devers in San Francisco tomorrow night. Devers 0 for 3 last night as a DH and a 4-2 Giants loss to Cleveland. The LA Lakers were sold yesterday. The Buss family has reportedly agreed to sell a majority stake in the franchise to Dodgers owner Mark Walter. The price tag is $10 billion. Tyrese Halliburton questionable tonight for Indiana. They host Oklahoma City in Game 6 of the NBA Finals, down 3-2. And the Edmonton Oilers have reportedly agreed to sign a former Bruin, Trent Frederick, to an 8-year contract extension worth a little less than $4 million a season. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by Boston Vision. Make 2025 the year you ditch the glasses and contacts and start seeing 2020 with a LASIK procedure from the team at Boston Vision. Book a free evaluation today at bostonvision.com. I'm John Wallach on Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 10 o'clock.
Stay tuned for more Toucher and Hardy on the Sports Hub.
Save at Whole Foods Market. Get 20% off no antibiotics ever, 80% lean ground beef with Prime through June 20.
dishonesty.
I am not known as Mr. Fun.
Toucher and Hardy continues on the Sports Hub. We know what you're thinking. What could I possibly have missed from the show? It's time for The Stack on Toucher and Hardy.
Hey, everybody. We're Toucher and Hardy. What is going on, Jonathan, since Hardy is not here? You take the wheel.
All right, let's go to hockey. We haven't discussed hockey a lot today. Brad Marchand and the Florida Panthers won the Stanley Cup for the second straight season 2 nights ago, and the following 24 hours has turned into one big party. There's a video I saw last night. Sasha Barkov actually taking the cup around his neighborhood, waking his neighbors up at 5 a.m. just to show it off to them. But
what would be your thought if you heard like commotion at your front door and it was 5 a.m. and you get up and like you're like, what's going on? Obviously it's scary. Like that doesn't often happen. And then you come to the door and it's this guy with the Stanley Cup. What would be your reaction?
What the F are you doing? I'm going back to bed.
Do you think you'd actually say that to him though?
That's my first thought. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'd say where to next.
I'd be like, oh, cool. I think I'd just be like, oh, cool. I would be really annoyed, but I mean, I'm not going to yell at the guy, but I would be like, I think I'd be like, oh, that's great. Awesome. And then be like
go on about your business.
Yeah, like what exactly do you want me to do?
Well,
like, yeah, I've seen it, dude. It's
good for you.
like I've seen it before.
Thanks, you live a couple of doors down. I've seen you leaving your Jaguar. Good,
like what? Like you're obviously. What do you got? You bring any women over with you?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, if it's just you and the cup, I got no use for you.
It's like you haven't come over here for cookouts, and we're not friends. What's going on?
Yeah, if
here?
he brought like him and like 4 beautiful women and knocked on the door and was like, "Hey, you want a party?" I'd be like, "Oh yeah, come in."
You wouldn't want to drink anything out of the cup?
No,
I don't think that was.
I've like been around. Not to sound like cool or anything, but I've like screwed around with the cup before, like a bunch of times.
Yeah,
like
had it here. Yeah.
This is like an on again, off again thing.
I'm involved with the guy that carries it around with in the box.
He's got the white gloves. That guy.
Yeah, I'm
Fred likes most about him.
Yeah, that's what I exactly have a fetish.
He's Mr. Personality, that guy.
But I wouldn't be mad so much as just like, what do you want out of me?
Yeah.
I get it and congratulations, but I don't know what you want me to do.
Yeah.
This is very confusing to me. Now I have it on my ring cam. Oh, maybe I could put it up at Fred Toucher. Would that go viral?
Oh, sure it would. Oh, yeah.
Because that's what you need.
Podcast 2 years later to find out how that leaked.
Yeah.
Yeah. Listen, if you're putting down Pablo Torre, it's just out of professional jealousy. I don't have time for that. Go ahead.
All right. So Brad Marchand obviously had the cup at times. He wound up, Fred, you'll appreciate this, on the balcony of the Elbow Room in Fort Lauderdale yesterday.
Thank you, Boston. Thank you, Boston. Thank you, Boston.
So
you're welcome. It was a good trade for everybody.
He's holding up the cup, and he actually was so drunk he needed help to keep the cup over his head. He had Chuck behind him holding it too. But
you know who loves the Elbow Room and goes there?
Crash.
Crash has pictures of the Elbow Room where it's just him. It's like 9:30 in the morning, and he's at the Elbow Room because his schedule used to be so screwed up. Like he goes to the Elbow Room every time he's in Fort Lauderdale. That's where he goes, the Elbow Room.
So reports out of Canada, Fred, indicate Marchand, especially after the playoff run he just had, is looking for a 2 or 3 year contract worth over $8 million a season. He just turned 37. Would the Florida Panthers or any
They
team...
can't afford him. They can't afford Sam Bennett.
Would any team give Brad Marchand 3 years and $24+ million? He's 37 years old.
Yes, a team is going to give it to him. It's not going to be Florida. I mean, Florida's going to lose Bennett, and they're going to lose Marchand. I mean, they have to. I mean, it's very hard with a hard cap to have a dynasty. And hockey's not created to be that. So, no, I don't think that they're going to keep Marchand.
He was willing to go to, say, Utah, and really just say, F it, this is about the money.
Marchand becoming
I think he
there
will
are enough
be.
teams in the league.
Yeah, I think that Marchand, I'm of strong belief that Marchand really just wants to get paid like these last couple of years.
Those have been the reports. He's going to, the correct phrase is he wants to monetize the last years of his career.
Yeah, which is smart. I mean, it's good for him.
Should. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's not like it hurts his legacy here. I mean, so if he ever wanted to come back here, I mean, do appearances and stuff, all that's still available
No,
to him.
he's a legend. Like Paul Pierce was a Brooklyn Net for a while.
And I bet you that
wizard.
he,
Wizard.
I bet you that he gets into broadcasting too, because if he has the ability, Marchand, to be a Barkley-esque person on a network. I know that there are like popular ex-players that do like podcasts that are popular. I'm well above that. I'm talking about like a guy that sits on the. I think that if I was TNT or ESPN or anyone, I would beg him to be part of my studio team.
You see him kind of his back and forth with Bissonnette has been legendary.
Well, John, his back and forth with us.
Yeah.
I've been on stage with him with a live mic. He's quick. He's funny. Like he takes control. He can host.
Yeah.
Like I mean, just with my own interactions with him in front of audiences. I mean, we've done it with him. What? Probably 20 times we've been in front of audiences with him, going back and forth.
Yeah.
If not more. Believe me, but they won't because they're idiots. They'll put Gretzky back on it.
Mr. Personality. Yeah.
And look, Gretzky's a great guy. It all sounds like I'm trying to be cool. Gretzky's a great guy, and like he's really like everyone likes him that I've seen and talked to. He's horrible on television. I mean, I don't think he would tell you he's great. And I get why he's on because he's literally the only hockey player that everyone knows.
Yeah.
Like I would make the argument he's literally the only hockey player everyone knows.
Do we need any more examples besides him and Brady that like you can be the greatest to ever walk the planet and this is a totally different job that you can't walk into for this?
Oh, we could do it. Joe Montana.
Yeah.
I mean, Joe Montana was terrible. Eric Dickerson was terrible.
Dickerson didn't have to lead anything. He was on the field. It was terrible.
He couldn't even talk on the field.
Yeah.
That's for a hot lady. And they don't even do that anymore. But if you ask me, that's a job that should be entirely based on looks. That's what I say.
Well, we went through auditions. You remember?
Well, well, then they made a guy they did it for Nesson, and you're like, what are you doing? It's Gary Strice guy. I mean, just have a hot chick. What's so wrong with it? Marry the manager, or marry a player. Good. Then get another hot chick. Who cares? Yeah. And believe me, this is not an offense to them. Jenny Dill said in this very room, and she didn't think she was Woodward and Bernstein out there. She knew she was out there doing stupid garbage. She knows it. She said it. She's a great girl. She's great. She's a talented broadcaster. She's making, a lot of money right now. Fantastic. All right. Look, everyone have a great weekend because I'm gone. So the ratings tomorrow will be atrocious.
Not true.
But that will do it for us. Everyone have a great weekend. Bye.